It's weird. There's no camera. I getting some. I got no camera. There's no camera. It's weird, isn't it? I got no camera, no nothing. Settings. Video. Black magic. Oh, we have video. Hello, can you all see me now? Hello, hello. Can you all hear me as well? That's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Have we got audio? Give me a 5x5 in the chat. Ah! Now, I'm going to play something now. Can you hear this? Can you hear the music? Yeah. I know why now it takes it all off. Oh, what was that? I just dropped my phone. Anyway. Yay, we're getting there. 7x7. Right, I need to pick my phone up because I don't know where that's gone now. That's just fell on the floor. Oh, now I've got it. Phone up because I don't know where that's gone. Good, right, so. Well, that didn't go as to plan anyway, so don't worry about that. We'll scrub the intro. We'll scrub that. We'll scrub the intro. You know Tyrant, he's never fucking professional, is he, really? He's always fucking, yeah. Afternoon, everybody. Let's put it on the right camera first, because I'm waving into another camera, and I should be waving into that camera there. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's see who we got on. Welsh Warrior, Swift and Bold, Lisa, Boo Boo, Jay, One Must. Good afternoon to everybody. How are you all? Right. This is scary shit going on now. I'm telling you, this is like, really, it's got me scared. Right. So much so, I'm in the sanctity of my shed. Oh, why not? There we go. Oh. 15-minute cities. As the title tells everybody. Download recording. End stream. Are we still live? Telling me something really weird on my screen, but I take it that I'm still live because I hopefully am, because there's still messages. So, 15-minute cities. Why introduce such a dystopian city? We touched system. Sorry, we touched on this yesterday. It's very, very scary. I want to play something. It's imperative. I'm not. People get bored when they watch little things, little clips, this, that, and the other. It's really important that you watch it all, because this is what's happening. You know, we've got our first 15-minute city happening in Oxford and in East London, in Newham, as we speak. They are being billed as the next 15-minute city. Lots of people are asking, what are 15-minute cities? Well, I'm going to play a little short video clip, and this will actually explain what's coming and what a 15-minute city is.
Well, guys, have you heard of the concept of a 15-minute city? If you haven't, I'm pretty certain you're going to hear about it pretty soon. The World Economic Forum, the United Nations, are all working on this. And the concept is this. A 15-minute city is that everything that you would possibly need, your groceries, your dentist, your doctor, anything that you would need would be within 15 minutes walking distance of your home. And if you go outside of that 15-minute zone that you live in, you could possibly be fined or punished. See, what they want to do is limit your carbon footprint. They want to limit the use of your personal vehicle. See, if you drive your vehicle outside of that 15-minute zone more than 100 times a year, you could be fined. This is what they're floating around. And a lot of people would say, well, that's crazy. There's no way anyone would go along with that. But I have to remind you, what did we just do a couple years ago?
Yep.
Everyone locked themselves in their homes. People died in nursing homes alone because their family couldn't visit them. People lost their livelihoods. People lost their businesses. Just locked away. And back then, many of us were screaming at the rooftops, saying, you know, this is all about control. All about control. It doesn't have anything to do with what they're telling us it is. And we could see the writing on the wall that it wasn't going to stop with those lockdowns, that we'd probably see new lockdowns, probably in the name of climate change. And here we are. This is the beginning of it. And it really got its big moment and really started to gain some traction in 2020 in Paris. The Socialist Party candidate for mayor won re-election. And one of the things that she was toting around back then was the idea of a 15-minute city. Now, what did I just say? Who was running for mayor? The Socialist Party. And she won. You know, the socialist, communist agenda just spreading across the globe right now. But after she won that election, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, they all jumped onto this idea of a 15-minute city. And this is moving forward. Right now in Great Britain, in the county of Oxfordshire, they're voting and proposing that if any of the 150,000 residents drive outside of their designated district more than 100 days a year, that they'll be fined £70. I mean, what is this, the Hunger Games? I mean, you can't leave your district, you can't leave your zone without being punished. You know, what is this, communist China? I mean, they have a social credit score in communist China. You know, if you're not a good little soldier, if you're not doing what the government tells you, if you're not just following the rules, your social credit score will drop and then you lose some freedoms. You know, for example, if I wanted to go on vacation, well, your social credit score would have to be at a certain level. Yep. Otherwise, you can't get on that airplane or you can't get on that public transportation. It's all about control and limiting our freedoms. Now, some people might say, well, that's communist China. It's not going to spread out from there. Well, I have to disagree. The World Economic Forum right now is doing just that. You know, it started with tracking the carbon footprint of a company or a factory or a corporation, right? Nobody had a problem with that. But now they want to track the carbon footprint of an individual. The World Economic Forum right now is working on a carbon footprint tracker for individuals. They want to control what you eat, how you move, who you interact with, and just about any other part of your life. If you don't believe me, here's what they have to say.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
So is that the world that you want to live in, where they're tracking your movements, tracking what you eat, tracking who you interact with, locking you in your homes, not letting you out of your district or your zone? Is that the world that you want to live in?
Well, we're learning that a World Health Organization staffer has written a report saying that a climate lockdown could be called for. Just like a COVID lockdown, a climate lockdown. Mark Morano is an author who has written a lot about climate change. He founded Climate Depot. He joins us tonight. Mark, thanks so much for coming on. A climate lockdown. Now, I would laugh this off the table, except we all just lived through the last 18 months, so we know that anything is possible. What does this mean exactly?
Well, you know, in my book, Green Fraud, I detail 2 chapters on this, Tucker. This is the climate activists were, first of all, jealous when the COVID lockdowns happened. They were beside themselves saying, how is this happening? Everyone from Greta Thunberg to John Kerry, UN officials. And then they started saying, we need to follow this. If we can shut down for a virus, we can shut down for climate. And that's what we're seeing. There's even academics in Australia proposing adding climate change to death certificates. And Bill Gates has said the death toll will be greater. So they're following every step of the way. And it's not just, you know, a professor here or someone in academia. We have a major UK report coming out. We have an international agency report that came out calling for essentially the same type of lockdowns. Everything from restrictions on your thermostat to restrictions of moving. You know, you can only fly in a climate emergency when it's, quote, morally justifiable. You know, kind of like a lockdown, you have to justify going to the store for essential services. They're going after freedom of movement. They're going after private car ownership. They're going after everything it means to be a free person and turning it over to the administrative state.
So climate lockdowns, this 15-minute city concept, it's being pushed through, and I think it's going to be fast-tracked. Even in my last video, I talked about how world religious leaders from all over the globe came together on Mount Sinai to usher in a new 10 commandments, all in the name of climate change. And I think the key phrase there is they came from around the globe, because everything's global now. Have you noticed that? Nothing's regional anymore.
Nope.
You know, think about the pandemic. Global, right? This looming financial crisis that we're facing, global. You know, the possibility of World War III, global. The climate crisis, obviously global. But as a Christian, you should know where this leads. You should absolutely know where this leads, that it leads to a one world government, a one world religion, and ultimately the mark of the beast system. This is the system of the Antichrist that the Bible prophesies, right? And as Christians, we should know that. And God is beginning to sort us out from the wheat from the tares. But He also gave us free will, so we have to make these decisions ourselves. So it's time to make that decision. What side do you stand on? I pray that you make the right decision. And if you like these type of videos, please hit that like and subscribe button. It just helps this channel grow. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.
It's just left me, this is leaving me speechless. We've been seeing this, and we've been saying this is, you know, all these protests with it, it's here. If we think now, we've got smart cities being built, we've got lots of major cities in the UK signed up to the smart city. This is what it is. 15-minute cities. Why do you think all these major cities now are putting up clean air zones and shit like that? You know, to me, that's a guise of tracking your movements. They're tracking you in and out of zones. They're tracking you district to district. You know, we are going to have a carbon tax put on a human being. They've looked at it. I've got documents here. Let me bring it up. You know, he was saying that they were, oh, where is it? Oh, here we go. Let's bring it up this way. Yeah, all the documents are there. I'll bring this up. It's happening in London. First one's there already in London. No, I might not be able to. That's the wrong one. Stop sharing. There we go. Let's make you bigger. Let's take that off. Let's take that off. And then we can have a read. So you can all see that, yeah? The London Borough of Newham is aiming to transform some of its most deprived area through the creation of 15-minute neighbourhoods. Now, if you read the actual document relating to what a 15-minute neighbourhood is, the people that wrote the document have urged all local authorities to not refer it as the 20-minute neighbourhoods. They are to refer it to as 15 minutes, whereby, you know, this is under the guise of you should be able to walk out your house and get to every single amenity within 15 minutes. That's the guise that is being brought under. But we can see some other fundamental things being brought in on the back of that, isn't it? You know, limitation of movements, limitation of goods to be brought. Because this is going to stop you. Why would you then need to leave that 15-minute neighbourhood where you live if you can get everything that you require within 15 minutes of your home? Why would you need to leave? That is the next thing I see going to be pushed is, you know, and it's going to be under the guise of climate, isn't it? You shouldn't need to move. You shouldn't need to put more carbon in the air because you should be able to get everything from 15 minutes from where you live. So we'll all be piled into compact spaces where we won't be able to leave. You know, Logan's Run, the Hunger Games, it all, you know, even it's going to come to the the time is, I can see they're going to have game shows between regions whereby it'd be like Running Man. You know, it's time to start running, where we're let out into the wilderness. You know, exactly like Logan Run, exactly like the Hunger Games, isn't it? You know, each person was chosen from each district, each neighborhood, to pit against the other neighborhood. And that will be for the enjoyment of the elite. You know, there will be no more billionaires and millionaires anymore. Me and Boomer speaks quite a lot of good about it offline. I wish he'd come back in and we can speak about it now. There's going to be no more billionaires and millionaires anymore. That's the thing of the past. You won't be allowed. Possibly not. Possibly not. Who knows? Boomer, what else do you make of this 15-minute city, or what else they can do?
You'll be stuck to your little village.
You will, won't you?
Yeah.
You won't be able to go out, and you will only be able to spend your money within a certain area, that 15 minutes.
If they let you, because it'll be digital money.
Yeah, because obviously if you're drinking too much alcohol, because alcohol is going to be, well, it's going to be a luxury, not a necessity, isn't it? It's a luxury item, alcohol.
And
So
they're gonna control the food production, as in their fake meat, which is in factories, so you can't do your own food, so they'll produce that as well.
And we got our new King Charlie backing the idea of 15-minute cities, well, 15-minute neighborhoods. We have to use the correct terminology of what they're guising it as. 15-minute neighborhoods. And old Weffy King Charles is for this now, isn't he? Let me just get rid of that. Let me just go back onto this. So this is a borough of Newham up in East London. I did get the document for a 15-minute city, actually, which was quite interesting. Here we go. The white paper, as they call it. I don't know if yeah, I can actually. Yes. Yes. I may be able to bring this up as a document. If I'm that clever. I might not be that clever. Stop sharing. So we stop sharing. Oh, the shop's there in that screen. And we select another window. No, we won't select that one. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. No. It won't let me share that document. Oh, yeah, it will. Local document. Oh, God, I'm such a techno twat. It's not a video, though, is it? I'm just having a brain fart a minute. I can't share this document because it's not letting you share it for some reason. Oh, unless I'm on it. I'm going to read the white paper for you. So it's a local plan's preferred options for 15-minute neighbourhoods and background paper, introduction. The vision in 2040 is that Oxford will be a healthy and inclusive city with strong communities that benefit from equal opportunities for everyone. Not only in housing, but also to nature, to employment, social and leisure opportunities, and to healthcare. The paper focuses on 15-minute neighbourhoods / city concept. It builds on the community and culture facilities, grey and digital infrastructures, and retail topic paper preferred and published for the issue consultation in the summer of 2021. So this has already been put out for consultation. So this has already been agreed. Oxford's implementing this 15-minute city neighbourhood. So it then goes on to what local authorities should do. All you've got to do is put 15-minute cities into your Google search and see what comes up. It is absolutely amazing. It's all done under the guise of climate change, you know, the climate emergency, digital infrastructure. They're going to have a digital infrastructure that gives digital access and broadband and 3G fucking it's more than 5G now, that'd probably be, for all including the elderly. Well, by that time, I don't think there's going to be many elderly on the planet because they've well and truly taken care of that. That already, I believe, haven't they? Let's see what the chat is saying. Let's bring the old chatty chat on. Chatty chat, chat, chat. People are saying they're speechless. You lot might be laughing. What's this one? This is your life to come. Yep. The Fabians. Yeah, Agenda 21. They have fought so far ahead of us, it is unreal. They probably can pit us at every single corner because they know our every move. They know why they've studied us for so long. They know we are not going to tip that edge. They know we're not going to cross that boundary where people get hurt to actually gain our freedoms back. Because remember, our forefathers, World War One, the Great War, you know, all these conflicts fought out times, and all our forefathers actually fought for the freedoms that we actually have today that are being taken away by tomorrow under the guise of the better of everybody. It's never the better of everybody, is it? It is the better of the few, and the few are the elite billionaires that are on this planet now. There's going to be no more billionaires. I've said, this is it. This what? Go on, Beamer.
And the latest FTX scandal, they've just now got a good excuse to regulate all crypto and ban all the other crypto and just bring in their own and have a solution.
Yep.
That's a setup as well.
Yeah, crypto. You know, all this crypto doing well,
FTX.
but FTX. You know, it's going to be a big fraud, big investigation, and now they're going to regulate it. So they're going to ban most of the cryptos, and the government's already have they got their own, or they've got the framework.
They're doing the trial now.
Yeah. So they're doing the trials of their own cryptocurrency. So that has got what? Would that be linked then to your social credits? Possibly.
Well, at least to your carbon use at start.
And like they said, I've watched a video on is that we're going to get carbon, each individual is going to get carbon credits per year, right? Some people might not use all their carbon credits. And when they actually bought, now, it's a funny story. About 10 years ago when I was working for a rail company, I had this strange phone call from somebody one day wanting me to invest in carbon credits, whereby I buy a shitload of carbon, and in the future, I'm going to be able to sell that carbon for a lot of money, right? A lot of these investment programs were a scam, but, you know, it's coming to fruition now, is whereby they met at COP26. We all know they met COP26 and they discussed the value on nature, right? They put a value on everything within nature. So they even put a value on us. Now, they want to get carbon emissions down, don't they? Well, we produce carbon, don't we? We produce quite a lot of carbon, human beings on this earth. Anyway, nature offsets that carbon anyway, because nature's a fantastic thing. It balances itself out over time, and you know, we go through hot and cold spells, but that's a different subject. So if they can then say, an average human a year produces 15 tons of CO2 emissions, we will only give them allowance of 15 tons of CO2. Once he's produced that CO2 in his whole everyday life by what he breathes out, by what his home appliances uses, this, that, and the other, that's it. He will then have to purchase carbon at a higher rate or buy carbon from other people that don't use as much. For Boomer don't use as much carbon as me per year because he doesn't have a family. He then can trade his carbon credits with me. But if I've been a bad boy, He won't be allowed to trade his carbon credits with me or any sort of credit with me, is because I will be on the blacklist. This is CCP China, isn't it? You've got to look at how it's coming. And it's all through that, isn't it? Through that little device there. And we've let it happen.
Yeah, the global average is 4.5 tons per person.
So 4.5 tons. So I gave a look.
But in America, it's 17.5 each.
Why is it more in America?
Because they waste a lot more. They do
Do
a lot
they?
more stuff. Yeah, if you average across the planet, you got all those poor people that don't produce fuck all.
Well, living in mud huts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh,
Well, that's the truth, though, isn't it? You know, so we will all be given the carbon usage, won't we? We will all be given a tonnage. And once we've used that tonnage, we either have to purchase more or go without. Is that freedom? Do people see that as you know? I don't see that of any sort of freedom. I've got some sort of freedom now. You know, I live what I consider at the moment a free life. I don't do anything that I don't want to do. No one coerces me into doing anything. So I live a free life. All right. Some of the taxes I don't agree with, but I still pay them because I have to pay them because I live in an alleged democratic society. Do I agree with them? No. And like I said, if I didn't want to pay them, I wouldn't, and I would just go and take myself and live in a mud hut somewhere in a forest. You know. This is, I can't believe that they just want people just like to stay. And this is why this whole, what I see, you know, in is it Dubai that's building the wall? Building that big fuck off, the line they call it, the line. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia is making people believe that they're going to be better off. How can you be better off? Well, we said this. You're not allowed. They don't promote growing your own food, keeping your own animals. They don't promote any of that now. You got to think of why. Absolutely. I'm missing so many messages. Oh, there we go. I can read them on the screen. That's better. Yeah, look at all the people that live in their own vans and shit like that. Where are they? You know, they won't be allowed to travel like they do now. No van lifers, you're right. There's an ever-growing van life community now. It's growing on a daily basis. You know, people just getting sick and fed up of the rat race and just going to buying a dilapidated old van and then starting a YouTube channel. There's hundreds of them, and they all do pretty well. But then, when all the control does come into effect, you know, when they're controlling our internet access or what we can view, this, that, and the other, there ain't going to be none of that, is there? You know, they tried to take down a lot of people during the pandemic, and they were successful, you know, taking YouTube channels down, misinformation. And like we keep saying, misinformation is only what they say misinformation is. I got this channel, I don't know where this, I want to get rid of this screen, but it won't let me get rid of it until I ask. There you go, that's better. What's the chat saying? 268 people? Yeah, but you say, Jesus, you say your iPhone 6 works better than my laptop, your laptop, then yeah, it probably does, but we know, and it's proven, that iOS sends out slowdown updates, don't they? So it forces you to buy a new device. I've got an original iPad mini, 2nd gen. Does that work anymore? Nope, don't work anymore. It's because it's obsolete. They don't update the iOSs, and they deliberately slow things down. What else? What else was I looking at? There is a documentary that is by, I have to find, it's called is it Pivotal Moment channel?
Yeah, just show the intro.
I'll show the intro
on the second
of episode 2. Right, and this goes into great detail of no, that's episode. There we go. Here we go. This is the intro of. So if you want to go and see it, it's on the Pivotal Moment channel. There's 2 documentaries, very interesting, and I suggest people go and watch both of them. One's 15 minutes long, one's 30 minutes, and they're both worth a watch. So we just play the intro of episode 2 because I find it needs people to eye-open this.
We are all intimately aware of the rapid advancements in technology that have occurred over the past 20 years. Most of us carry devices in our pockets that would have looked like science fiction a couple of decades ago, but the developments we've seen in recent years only hint at what is to come. We are in the midst of a dramatic technological revolution, with multiple exponential technologies mutually reinforcing one another. This revolution will be far more significant than the industrial revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries, and it will occur over the course of a few decades, not centuries. The exponential rise in computational power, coupled with similar increases in data harvesting technologies and rapid advancements in the field of artificial intelligence, lay at the heart of this revolution and have the capacity to transform our world in ways few of us can begin to imagine. Artificially intelligent deep learning systems are increasingly capable of outperforming humans in a wide and ever-expanding variety of tasks. Developments in natural language processing and voice recognition mean that these systems can interact with people in ways that are almost indistinguishable from flesh and blood humans. Advances in image recognition mean that these systems have the capacity to interpret the world around them and outperform humans at even highly skilled tasks such as radiological diagnosis and the identification of cancerous tumours. Multi-layered neural networks, modelled on the way our brains process data, allow these systems to interact with novel environments and successfully navigate situations that they have not previously encountered. Self-driving cars are the perfect example of this. These emerging artificially intelligent systems, coupled with advanced robotics and sensors, are about to replace human beings right across the workforce in numbers that are hard to comprehend. Although estimates vary, approximately 50% of the jobs in advanced economies will be able to be performed by AI by the middle of the 2030s. And as the technologies continue to improve, that number is only set to increase significantly in the decades ahead. These transformations in the workplace are not limited to low-skilled jobs and are completely agnostic to the colour of someone's collar. Radiologists, copywriters, legal secretaries, drivers, graphic designers and artists, computer programmers and even doctors and surgeons are in the firing line as these intelligent systems are rolled out across the economy and take on ever more complex and challenging tasks. This technological revolution will not create more jobs than it destroys, as some techno-optimists may argue, and the tsunami of technological unemployment does not lay far off in the future. It's happening right now, and by the middle of the 2040s, when children born today are about to begin their working life, 75% of today's jobs may have been automated out of existence, with comparatively few new jobs created to replace them. It is not difficult to grasp the incredibly destabilising impact that this surging wave of technological unemployment and the emergence of a vast, permanent and ever-increasing economic underclass could have on society. Increasing inequality, deepening polarisation, rising crime, social unrest and authoritarian crackdowns seem all but certain if we continue on our current trajectory. But although the scale of these challenges and the pace of these seismic shifts may come as a surprise to many, it has not crept up on those who sit in the boardrooms of global corporations, work in the higher echelons of government, or who congregate at the annual meetings of business leaders and political power brokers at events like the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. In fact, the impending societal transformation has been obvious to anyone willing to look closely at the trajectory of our technological developments for at least the past 2 decades. For instance, Jeremy Rifkin's book, The End of Work, published over 25 years ago in 1995, clearly outlined how advances in computing power and the emergence of increasingly intelligent machines would lay waste to entire categories of employment, stating then that 75% of jobs were simple repetitive tasks and therefore extremely vulnerable to automation. Their introduction was hardwired into the dynamics of capitalism and the market system. The only question that remained was how to manage the enormous societal dislocation that would occur as a huge percentage of the population was exiled into permanent economic irrelevance. Armed with such foreknowledge of the transformation ahead, I simply ask you, is it not obvious that those who possess power and influence would have been developing their plans for the future of this radically different world? Of course, these technological developments are not a force of nature, and humanity could collectively choose how they are utilised. These technologies could be deployed in such a way as to benefit all human beings, heralding an age of abundance, instead of concentrating unimaginable wealth and power in the hands of those who win the AI arms race. The enormous productive capacities of these technologies could be shared more evenly amongst humanity, instead of being hoarded by the few, thus liberating many from dangerous toil and soulless drudgery, finally reducing the length of the working week and freeing us to pursue our passions, indulge our creative impulses, and enrich our human connections. But it seems clear that those in positions of power, those who have the most to gain from this technological revolution, have chosen a different path.
Yeah.
They have decided to reap all the benefits of the revolution for themselves, further consolidating their wealth and power, while simultaneously utilising these new technologies to control the masses as we transition to a workerless post-Labour world. Artificial intelligence, voice and facial recognition, big data and psychographic profiling, attention harvesting and behavioural modification technologies are all being deployed to surveil and control the ever-increasing masses of humanity that will be excluded from the potential benefits these technologies could bring. In so doing, our new feudal overlords will permanently solidify their position at the pinnacle of the new social hierarchy and simultaneously create a new global totalitarian surveillance state from which there will be no escape. The historical confluence of an approaching tsunami of technological unemployment, coupled with the simultaneous development of technologies that can automatically surveil, manipulate and control billions of people, is a major reason, although not the only reason, why this dystopian techno-totalitarian control system is being rolled out at this particular moment in time. AI automation and the post-Labour world is an extremely important topic we will return to later, for it has implications that go far deeper and are far more disturbing than the technological unemployment and the ubiquitous surveillance described here. But for now, let's move on.
There you have part one. It goes into great details. It's happening. It's happening. They had every intention on doing this, and they knew when they were going to do it. What's happening in globally? It's like he said in the last one, the 15-minute cities. It's not locally happening anymore. Everything that's mentioned in the news is globally, isn't it? Globally, nothing locally. Or we've got to look at it. We are well and truly. I'm just lost for words. I don't know what people are saying in the chat about it. We got Indy in. I hope it's Indy. Hello, Indy.
Well, listen, they've been using AI for years. Yeah, basically, when I first started playing games on the computer, they'd give you an AI opponent. So what it would do is it would basically, you'd play the game, it would watch your strategy and how you were doing, and then what it would do is it would do something to counter-react that.
Yeah.
Like on FIFA and stuff like that. So they've been using it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
It's just people haven't been really that much aware of it. And then robots that you've seen, they've got military robots, man. You can kick, punch, and hit with baseball bats, and they just stand there and they'll just pop around in your head. You know, I think China have got. I mean, and you had Boston, a group called Boston there. They've got a lot of stuff. Them guys.
Well, if you look at it, right. I mean, Boomer were laughing the other day. He says you go into Asda, right? Now on Asda self-service checkouts, they have got. Well, the cameras on there, they're 4K. Because you look at the screens, they're just above the checkout. You can see the red square around your face. You get women putting their lipstick on in front of the camera. Yeah. But you don't realise all facial recognition is. It's not the camera, it's the program that is attached to that camera. It's an algorithm. All right? That's all it runs. Anybody's camera can be a face recognition camera. how do you know that throughout lockdown that, you know, they weren't testing their capabilities on what they can do on tracking people and facial recognition wise, but on live streamers, whereby it's just a computer program. I've said it all along. You know, they've got all these ultra low emission zone, ULI zones, major cities have got on them, and they got the recognition cameras on top, you know.
And those zones look very close to 15, 20-minute zones.
Yeah, very, yeah. Well, for me to cross from one end of the city to the other end of the city, it would take me 15 minutes.
Yeah, but what are they going to do about the people that live in rural areas that can't get to town within 15 minutes? They're a bit fucked, aren't they?
Well, they're going to be moving everyone out to rural areas. They want everyone to live in a city. They don't want people to live out in the sticks no more.
Yeah, but what about these people that have got their livelihoods and that, you know, farms and stuff like that? That you know, they're not going to move them because they're basically.
But they're forcing them to close down.
They're forcing them, and they're also giving them incentives to actually stop farming. You look on the government website of what farmers can get.
Do you really think, like, people that have had it for years and years and they've been passed it down from their grandparents and stuff like that, do you really think they're going to give up their livelihood for a little bit of money? No.
Right. But look at this now, right? We don't live in an age where families are 6 and 7 members. You've got 4 or 5 brothers and sisters. We don't live in a society that has large families anymore, because it's whereby I'm from one of 6, right?
I'm one of 10.
It wasn't frowned upon. You look at it now, if you say you've got like 10 brothers and sisters, it's frowned upon, isn't it? Frowned upon.
Yeah, and I just tell people my mum and dad didn't have a TV and we ate at the quality streets.
What's that?
Came from a good Protestant family, just 2.
Well, that's what it's saying now, mate. But years and years ago, English families were made up of loads of people. They had multiple children back then, but now they're not. So they don't have, you know, people to hand these farms down. And if the government gives you a good enough incentive, a lot of them are just going to sell up, because you look at it, you've got the likes of the supermarkets that squeeze farmers to the lowest possible margins. They then sell that produce at an inflated rate to the consumer, but then don't pass that on to the farmers, right? So what a farmer going to do is, there's no livelihood. It's forcing farmers out of their business, right? So if the government turned and said, oh, I'll give you £1 million for your farm, of course he's going to take it. And that's what they're trying to stop doing.
But they can force you to take it as well.
Well, they can put compulsory purchase orders, can't they? They want to build. You look at all the Irish farms, some of the most fertilest farmland for corn and shit like that.
Compulsory purchase for climate change.
Yes, but look what they're doing in the Irish farmers for when they were growing corn and shit like that. There's one fertile land that's so fertile, they've now put a CPO on it, and he's got to change it into these fucking these solar farms. You know, this is what it is. They either want the agricultural land so they can control it, or they want to put these big solar wind farms on there. They don't want people to own land anymore. They want everyone to live in little boxes in a city.
In bugs and be happy.
Well, that's 2030 agenda, isn't it? You know.
Mate, I'll go out capturing the Queen's deer quite happily, mate. I haven't used a bow for ages.
And everything's being brought on the guise of global war, global climate, global pandemic. You know, this is the guise. This is the one world government. They want a seat. All heads of government. They don't want little parliaments anymore. That, you know, those little parliaments would just be filtering out the laws that is passed from central government wherever WEF decides to have it. It's madness. I'll see if I can get. I'm going to download episode 2. We don't know how long they are.
Well, mate, if it comes to it, I'm going deer hunting, mate. Watch.
Well, you won't be allowed because you won't be allowed 15 minutes out your city. You won't be allowed to. You won't be allowed to go to the country.
No one's going to see where I go. I won't let anyone know.
Mate, if you don't think they haven't got technology yet that they can track,
Mate, I know what technology they've got.
you know what I mean? Most people, right? We are the most surveilled country in the world.
Oh,
right?
yes.
There's one camera per 14 people, 14 capita per person, yeah? So for every 14 people, there's one camera, all right? When you walk out your door, you're guaranteed probably within the first 5 minutes to be picked up on the CCTV camera. If you live in a city, you're more than likely to be picked up within the first 30 seconds of walking out your front door.
Well, you've seen where the cameras are where I live. They're just down the top of the street.
Exactly. So...
Bro, I've got them outside my front door. I've got them on the building opposite as well.
It's like I said, why do you think they got everybody to wear a mask for 2 years? Because they needed to update the software to recognise masks. And it's even now the apps, they were getting you to trial it on your smartphones to put a mask on and then sort your camera out so it detects your face with a mask on. Yeah, they can detect you from the bridge of your nose upwards.
Yeah, they've got
They don't need your full face anymore.
I think they have to pick out 6 or 7 distinctive features to be able to get an ID.
Yeah? What's one of the most distinctive features on your fucking body?
Well, your brow line, your eyes.
Your ears.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, DARPA, they do the DARPA project.
Can't move your ears.
Well, no, it's even like the shape of them, the you know, how they're formed. Everyone's ears are different, they're saying. A bit like a fingerprint. It's mental. I think it's...
All freedom people will be like Picasso.
What, cutting the ears off?
Yeah.
What's that saying? Don't cut your ears off to spike your face or something. Or is that your nose? I don't know.
Yeah. But it's true, though, isn't it? They all did. They all wear a mask, and now their mobile phones detect their face just from the upper nose and bridge. That is it. It's amazing how they did it under the guise of, you know. And I only found this out the other day, right? I didn't know this. Do you know when you've got to prove yourself to be a human?
Yeah.
Right. Now, there's two theories whether or not this is true, right? I get that the second one is more truer. The first one is you were teaching AI to recognize what traffic lights were, what tractors were, what, you know, everyday objects. So we were teaching the AI for free. Or the second one is it's not that you're telling the computer that that's a traffic light. You're giving the computer permission to search your search history to see what you've last browsed. And that's how it determines whether or not you're a human. Is your search history, not that you're clicking on a fucking traffic light. So I believe the second one, that it's actually searching. Because if you notice now, all the people that use Snapchat, it's now asking you, oh, would you like to link your desktop device? And do you know why it's asking you to link your desktop device? So it can not only search your phone's history and shit like that you're giving it permission to, it can now search your whole history on your desktop. They've all done it.
And any files.
Oh, and any associated files, because...
On any device on the network.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Anything that's connected to your network. So say, for example, my children's devices are connected to my network. You're giving them permission to...
Your camera,
their camera, everything. This is what people are given permission for.
your doorbell camera.
Yeah. Everything that's on the network. So smart... so all your smart TVs that's connected to your network, smart lights... You're giving them access to everything that's connected. Because let's be honest, how many people actually read the terms and conditions when they click on something before?
Exactly. Do you know what makes me laugh? See these smart houses they've started to make.
Yeah.
Like, can you just imagine what that if the government wanted to lock you down, mate, they could just lock you down in there, no problem.
Was it Sweden, Switzerland? That guy, he had the first microchip into his hand to walk into his house, control his lights and everything like that.
That's fucking crazy.
It's coming. Why do you think, right? They got it. They needed to get something that everyone could get addicted to, young, old, you know. So they invented the technology, wasn't it? They invented smartphone. You look at the technological advances that we've just had a sharp increase of what we are being able to do technology-wise, right? Everything could be controlled just by your little phone, right? But now they want to get that phone out of your hand and into your body somewhere. Because when you walk out your house and you haven't got your phone, it's like you're naked, isn't it? Because you haven't got your phone. So they need to get that now into you. And I guarantee you, how many people, if they turned around tomorrow, Bill Gates come out tomorrow, or Elon Musk, and he said, right, I've done it. I've got the phone. I've got the phone that is now incorporated optically into a human being. How many people would you reckon it would run out and sign up to it?
Oh, loads of people.
But there you go. We've lost then, haven't we?
Just to say that they've got it.
There you go. Just to say that we've got it.
The latest fad or whatever the fuck it is. The next great thing they're going to follow, yeah. We all know the answer to that.
20 years ago, what Slash is saying, hang on. It's going so fast, I need to slow the chat. There's loads. Look, I only found out, you know, I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Boomer told me about 15-minute cities. He did. And he said, oh, you heard of 15-minute cities? I went, what's that? But then you look into it and you just search it, 15-minute cities. They're not hiding the fact of what they're bringing in. You know,
well, they're hiding it in plain sight, so we'll see it.
No, Bristol, well, you got to look at it. Bristol is a smart city anyway. They signed up to the World Economic Forum Smart Cities. Yeah. They're building houses, the first lot of smart houses in Bristol. We'll you look at all the major cities that are signed up to the World Economic Forum, WEF. A lot of them are.
That's good.
Oh, I hear the rain.
Huh?
The rain.
Is that rain?
Yeah,
I thought it was a fucking mic freaking out.
No. It's because I'm on this mic here, look, and it's not a dynamic. It won't cancel background noise out.
Okay.
So let's see what people are saying in the chat.
Alright, listen, I'm gonna jump off because I've got things to do. I've got a mate outside fixing this car. Just gotta pop on and say hello and that.
Oh, hear that? Hailstone. Alright, Andy.
Alright, mate, speak to you later.
Alright.
Live climate change.
Hey, that's climate change for you. Hang on. We'll go to a different microphone, so you might not hear it a lot. I'll just put that one there a minute. You can still hear it a bit. God, that's coming down hard, isn't it? Real hard.
Must be Russia's fault.
Yeah, it's always Russia's fault, isn't it? Let's turn that down a bit so you ain't gonna hear. You're gonna hear me all right, but you won't hear. That's why I need an arm. There you go. Let's have a look. Need to go down a little bit more so it cut out. Ah, that's a little bit better. There you go. Dying down now. Oh! I got a drip. That shouldn't happen. I got a tarpaulin on the roof. That shouldn't happen. Hang on. I'm going outside. I'll turn this mic back on. Hang on. Ah. Yeah, came off the roof. I'm back again. Well, I didn't go. I just went off a camera. I just went outside. You all should still be able to hear me. I just had to go outside a little bit. Hang on, I put that back on.
You need some wireless headphones.
Yeah, that's all I need now. Is get some wireless, because I got a wireless mic, which is all right. It works pretty good. Pretty good sound with it, but it doesn't cancel any noise out, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Not like to say what people say. That was some hailstones though. That was pretty yeah. It's on a tin roof, isn't it? Well, galvanized steel roof. I'm telling you, the amount of times India tell you, and that when they came down and put it up, the amount of times I nearly cut my finger off. Putting it up was a bit of a nightmare. I have had someone sit behind, right, backstage now for ages. Hasn't put a camera on, hasn't said a word, hasn't spoken in the chat. Frank, I don't know who you are. You've been sat in the chat for ages. You haven't, this is the first message that you've just put up, and you haven't spoken in the main chat at all. So unfortunately, no, I don't know who you are. Mental. I laughed. If you noticed during that last little segment, I laughed about when the Tesla robot came up, because all that was is a man in a suit. Man in a suit. All these other robot companies that got all these robots that can somersault and shit like that.
Sorry.
And all Tesla could. Shall we find the clip? Tesla man in a suit. Oh, I'm telling you.
That's what it's going to be like next year or the year after.
Man in a suit. Here we go. Probably get fucking done now for the fucking guy.
They have done a new one.
They've done a new one?
Yeah, it's a real rope. Wow, have a look.
Oh, I can't fucking show it. For some reason, it don't let you. Guardian don't like you downloading their work. Fucking bastards. It's fair usage. Come on. I want it on another screen. There we go. Got to do it as shit. God, that rain is coming out. So this is yeah, this is Tesla's robot. Mental, isn't it?
People are really stupid, aren't they?
Yeah, but people give billions to him, millions to him. That's just like, people believed it, and they all gave him a round of applause. Fucking madness. People are dumb, aren't they? Everything he's brought out, he's not. How can he be an inventor? Sorry, how is he an inventor? What has he invented? Name one thing he's invented. He doesn't. What patents does he hold? None. He didn't invent the fucking battery. He didn't invent, you know, he's using a Nikola Tesla's work. You know, Hyperloop. That's somebody else's work. He's promised, what was it, Autonomy 5 or something like that? That you can self-drive a car. That's never going to happen. Well, yeah, anyway. What was this? Something about fate. Yeah, exactly. You look at even his solar tiles that he's produced. They don't fucking work properly. Someone beat them. Definitely heard someone beep. Anyway, what was I looking for? I was looking for some history. I need to go into history. That was what I was looking at. Pivotal moment. Gonna get episode 2. Episode 2, part 2. These are good because they're broke down into little segments, because you gotta remember people's attention spans. They don't watch a lot on, you know. I'm a flicker. Right, we got that. Get rid of that. Right, what was I doing? Local video. No, not that. Right. That's alright. Local video. Downloads. Here we go. Right, this is episode 2. And we'll have a little look-see.
The second factor that is being used as a reason, or perhaps more accurately, a justification for the development of this new system of surveillance and social control, is the environment. Now, it should be painfully clear to anyone that humanity's relationship with the natural world is radically out of alignment. The litany of damage we are causing to this beautiful jewel of a planet is truly shocking, and the scale and breadth of the problem can feel overwhelming. Overfishing and microplastics in the oceans, the extinction of countless species, the die-off of insects and pollinators, widespread deforestation and the loss of biodiversity, the silent but catastrophic destruction of our topsoils through the use of harmful pesticides, glyphosate and unsustainable industrial agricultural practices, the desertification of vast swathes of our once fertile land, and the widespread use of hormone-disrupting chemicals in our plastics that leach into the environment and into our bodies. The disturbing list goes on and on. With these misaligned and unsustainable practices, we are seeing a dramatic rise in the sicknesses of affluence, increases in a raft of seemingly unrelated illnesses and allergies, and a simultaneous deterioration in the ecological systems that all earthlings, both humans and animals, depend upon. It is clear that we cannot continue on this trajectory for much longer without catastrophic consequences. We have arrived at this point not because humans are a cancer on the earth or some sort of virus, as some amongst the elite would have you believe, but instead because we have become estranged from nature and forgotten what 1,000 generations before us knew in their bones. That we are an integral part of the natural world, different from the other earthlings we share this planet with, primarily in our incredible tool-making abilities and the commensurate capacity we possess to transform the world around us. We are not separate from the natural world, nor do we have dominion over it. We are just one miraculous strand in the multitudinous web of complex connections that shape the planet we call home, completely dependent upon the bounteous, self-renewing systems of nature. To solve these complex environmental problems, we must again come into harmony with nature and see the natural world as having intrinsic, innate worth, rather than only for its utilitarian value as a resource to be exploited, monetised and then discarded. Contrary to what the doomsayers will have you believe, and despite the scale of the challenges, we have everything we need to do this. For although we live on a finite planet, the two resources that are most critical to this transformation have no such limitations: our ingenuity and our adaptability. Utilising our modern technologies and guided by ancestral wisdom, we can remove our dependencies on pesticides and poisons and instead deploy regenerative agricultural practices to heal our soils, our ecosystems and ourselves in the process. We can free ourselves from the empty and unfulfilling hamster wheel of consumer fetishism, end the illogical and egregious practice of planned obsolescence, and transform our single-use, fast-fashion, throwaway culture into one that values connection, community and integrity. And whether you see global warming or its rebranded variant climate change as an existential threat predominantly caused by the burning of fossil fuels, or conversely as a largely natural, cyclical phenomena that humans are having little meaningful impact upon, it seems somewhat archaic that in this world of particle accelerators, space telescopes and supercomputers, we still derive most of our light, heat and energy in the same way our ancient ancestors did, by simply burning combustible materials, albeit instead of wood, dung and animal fat, we now burn ancient energy-dense hydrocarbons. Surely we can do better than this. After all, there is a vast fusion reactor in the sky, known as the Sun, that provides more energy than we could ever need, and the technology to collect, store and utilise that energy is becoming cheaper and more efficient with every year that passes. If just a fraction of the resources currently spent on developing and deploying high-tech weapons of war was diverted to further improvements in the generation and storage of solar energy, we could shift to a clean, reliable and most importantly decentralised energy system that would no longer pump particulates into the air, risk devastating deep ocean oil spills or catastrophic nuclear meltdowns. That's not to say that we could do this overnight, or that it will be easy, or that continued technological advances will not be required to improve efficiency and drive down costs. And of course we should not make such rapid, radical and one-dimensional changes so as to disrupt the economic and agricultural systems we all depend upon and risk widespread deprivation, conflict or starvation. Nor should we greenwash over the downsides, dangers and complexities of transforming our energy infrastructure. But making these changes is completely within our capabilities, and that's without even considering the exotic energy generation technologies that are almost certainly locked away in black projects, funded by our taxes, which have never seen the light of day. But once again, rather than take such a life-sustaining and life-affirming path, the elites have seized upon the environment, and anthropogenic climate change in particular, as the perfect way to justify and extend their control agenda, with human-generated CO2 characterised as the prime driver of climate change and posing an existential threat to humanity. The case is being made that every aspect of our lives must therefore be monitored and controlled to curtail its production. But just as vaccine passports were deceptively promoted as an essential tool in the fight against COVID, but were really just a Trojan horse used to introduce a digital ID scheme, carbon credits will soon be rolled out, marketed as a critical mechanism in the battle against climate change, but in reality, they will just be another mechanism for social control and surveillance. Through this sleight of hand, the environment is being weaponised and turned against us by those who wish to create this new totalitarian system. Tied to the vaccine passport digital ID system, personal carbon credits will be issued to nearly every human being on the planet, the exact amount you are allocated being dependent upon your social credit score. The freedoms we have all enjoyed for all our lives, the freedom to live the lives we choose, go where we wish, enjoy our leisure time as we desire, and even eat what we want will in an instant have been taken from us. We will be little more than livestock, tagged and monitored, prodded and punished, grateful for whatever scraps of food and freedom we are given by our masters. However, digital IDs, social credit scores and carbon credits do not complete the architecture of technocratic control that is planned for us. There is one further element of the envisioned system that is missing: a new type of money.
And it goes on to the new type of money in episode 3 of part 2. And, you know, it's everything that we've been saying is actually happened and they're using against us. And they're molding it into it's for the good of the people, it's good of the climate,
The planet.
the planet. Well, it's like we said, everything's being mentioned on a global scale now, isn't it? This is regionally happening. This is globally happening. It's scary times. I'm pretty scared about it, to be quite honest. I don't know what the future is gonna. Well, I knew, digital IDs and shit like that, but what they can do with it is endless. I see endless uses. Once they've got you trapped in it, you're doomed. We're all
Well,
doomed.
they start with those on benefits.
Because they're the easiest, because they're part of the way there, because we've got universal credits, haven't we, already? We've got that system already. They've been handing scraps out for like the £324 cost of living crisis.
And they'll make it more expensive for the other people. So they'll shift over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's scary. Because we've all talked about the central bank digital currency, universal basic income. The the system that we've been living in for the last 50 years is rapidly coming to an end, as I see it. And we touched on it just now with the whole digital currencies of how they're going to bring that in. The central bank, we spoke about the central bank digital currencies a lot, but I think this is the one. We'll go into it a little bit more.
The global financial system we have lived under for the past 50 years, a fiat-based money system built upon the US dollar as the global reserve currency and the de facto currency of global trade, is rapidly coming to an end. As the elements of the new surveillance and control architecture described here are manoeuvred into place, the current financial system has consequently lived beyond its usefulness for those who have ambitions to reshape the world. The financial system we live under today is a vast collective illusion. Nearly every dollar, pound, euro and yen in existence today is created out of nothing, simply conjured into existence by typing on a computer keyboard, when commercial banks make loans to individuals and businesses, or when central banks buy bonds from governments and the financial sector. It is nothing more than a giant Ponzi scheme of unimaginable proportions, and, like every Ponzi scheme, sooner or later it has to collapse. This is a mathematical certainty. Each round of quantitative easing, a euphemism for creating new money out of nothing, may appear to breathe life into the system for a while.
Ponzi scheme, fucking pyramid, they're all coming back. I've been watching documentaries about the pyramid queen, as they call it, and she was trying to guise it as crypto and shit. She's never been done. She's on the run.
But like injecting a dying patient with adrenaline, the boost is only temporary and it makes the inevitable demise all the more certain. The tens of trillions of dollars, euros and pounds created during COVID as businesses were forced to close and whole countries were locked down has served to prime the charges and seal the fate of the financial system. Perhaps, along with the introduction of the digital ID system, that was the part COVID was always supposed to play. The inflation we are seeing around the world today is the first sign of this impending crisis, and despite what the talking heads on the news will have you believe, it is not primarily caused by global supply chain issues or Putin or the war in Ukraine, but because trillions of dollars, euros and pounds were created out of nothing and pumped into the global financial system.
There we go.
It is not cyclical, it is not transitory, it is not a blip. It's systemic, and the economic convulsions we are beginning to witness are going to get a lot worse. At some point in the coming months or years, when the stage is set and the technical infrastructure is ready to go, the global financial system will be consciously and deliberately imploded. Like knocking over the first domino in a world record attempt, a big global player or G7 country will get into trouble. Automated trading systems around the world, like BlackRock's Aladdin, will start liquidating trillions of dollars of assets, and the contagion will be unstoppable. As people rush to pull their money from the banks, their accounts will be frozen. ATMs will be emptied and food shelves will soon follow. In our just-in-time, high-tech, interconnected world, the right push on the right weak link at the right moment will be enough to initiate a collapse, not a recession or a depression, but a cascading systems failure. A controlled demolition, if you will, of the financial system and the global economy that relies upon it. But to what end? Why deliberately bring down the whole house of cards? The goal is the creation of a completely new global financial system, based upon new digital-only currencies that will enable complete surveillance and control of the most intimate aspects of our lives and, more importantly, demand our absolute compliance. To achieve that end, the old system must be destroyed, but this is a small price to pay for those who want to create a new world out of the rubble of the old. When the chaos has unfolded for long enough, and fear and despair have overwhelmed all but the most grounded and prepared, the new solution to the manufactured problem will be revealed to the desperate masses. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs as they are termed, will be rushed to market at warp speed as a solution to all our woes. A new system, a global reset, salvation from our far-sighted financial overlords who just happen to have a pre-prepared solution to the global financial contagion. To sweeten the deal and ensure swift and widespread uptake, Universal Basic Income, or UBI, a monthly allowance issued to everyone to cover their basic material needs, will be offered to all those who subscribe to the new system. As with the vaccinations before, for the sake of safety and security, many people will take the bait. Despite superficial appearances, this digital money is not a new version of your bank card or Apple Pay. It possesses novel features that make it the perfect tool to permanently solidify the system of control in the hands of our would-be financial masters and technocratic elites. First, the new money is only digital, with cash completely abolished. Therefore, if you want access to the basic necessities of life, you will have no choice but to participate in the system and have your every action recorded. Second, these digital currencies are programmable, meaning that unlike the money we use today, this digital money can be programmed to only be used to purchase certain types of goods and services. This will undoubtedly be linked to your social credit score, so that compliant individuals with sufficiently high social credit scores may be able to purchase certain luxury items, whereas individuals with low social credit scores will be restricted to only spending their digital money on basic necessities. Third, this programmability can extend to the ability to add an expiry date to the money, meaning that once you receive your allocated UBI, it must be spent within a matter of days or weeks. Ostensibly, this design feature is to increase the velocity of money through the economy, keeping the wheels of business turning. But in practice, it will simply prevent people from accumulating any assets and thereby securing some form of limited independence. And finally, if you do not demonstrate the requisite level of compliance and conformity demanded of the new techno-feudal serfs, your access to the financial system and the necessities of life can be withdrawn instantaneously at the touch of a button. With the introduction of digital money, the picture of this new dystopian architecture of totalitarian technocratic control comes into sharp focus. The digital ID is the critical core of the system, linking all other aspects of the surveillance and control architecture into a unified whole. The new digital-only currencies facilitating the monitoring, evaluation and control of everything we consume, and the social credit score assigned to each person used to determine the privileges that they have access to, the amount of resources they are allowed to acquire, and the carbon credits they are allocated. Overlay this system with ubiquitous surveillance of everything, literally everything we do, both on and offline, and it becomes the perfect feedback loop for behavioural modification and operant social conditioning. Of course, these restrictions will not apply to our new feudal overlords, the billionaires and technocratic elites and their mouthpieces in the media and government. They will not be required to have their regular mRNA shots or have restrictions on where they can travel, what they can purchase and the food they can eat. And they will not have to submit completely to the will of the technocratic state in order to get access to their monthly UBI tokens. That's just for the rest of us. That's just for the serfs.
So we're going to be living in a serf. Well, we live to serve them.
I put the links to those videos in the chat.
It's very important because if you look at it, these videos they've had some of them have had quite a lot of views, but then I would say the important ones that are on the YouTube, they haven't had any views, because it's, to me, this needs getting out there, because how he's putting it in these little documentaries and he's explaining it all, how it's all coming to fruition, and if we've been living it, and we all know it's true because we've all been living it for the last 2 and a bit years, nearly 3 years now. You know, we're coming into the 3rd Christmas now since all this bullshit, everything started to go mental in the world. Not regionally, in the world. And we've said all along that words and language of how we use it, how others use the language, and what people say and what we read in the news is very important. We have to remember the language, because it's all subliminal. It's how they get it in without people really battering an eyelid. They gently easing this stuff in, right, under a guise of something different. And we got the normies, people who don't question what their masters, because you got to look at it, they're not governing us. They control us. They're not doing anything for the good of the people. I'm just, it's, I just don't know what, yeah.
And their manifestos, they don't even do anything. They just completely ignore whatever they say for the election.
Well, you look at it, they did a budget, right? They did a budget, then they reneged on it, didn't she? She undone it all. And then she left. We've got a government that's got every single cabinet member is unelected really by the people, because we've got an unelected prime minister, right? He's then imposed a government that we didn't say was all right. He did. I think it's, see here, episode 2, part 4. It's been up for 12 days on this guy's channel. I don't know who he shared it from. He didn't say, but I believe that I'll probably get a few more than him viewing it. And I think the little like clippets, how if you put it in a 30-minute documentary, half the people in here, put one in the chat. If you see a documentary and it says 30 minutes, would you pass it by? Or would you sit there and watch the whole 30 minutes? Now, I would say majority of people would probably pass it by. Because that's why they don't want you to watch anything. Because you've noticed now YouTube's gone very much 60 seconds, isn't it? 60-second shorts, right? Really, you got to be good to be able to put your message out in 60 seconds. Some people do, some people don't, by the looks of things. Add new source, location, share. So episode 4 in the series goes on about the elite and the masses. So he goes on now about them and us. So we'll have a little look-see.
At this juncture, it is important to briefly return to the topic of AI automation, for this has other deeply disturbing implications that are critically important to understand. Throughout history, the ruling classes have had a dependency relationship on the greater mass of humanity. The aristocracy and the feudal lords needed the peasantry to work in their fields and fill the ranks of their armies when called upon. And the industrialists that followed them needed the lower classes to fill their factories, man the production lines, and take their places in the mechanised armies of the 20th century. But in the new world that is fast emerging, where robots and artificially intelligent systems are capable of performing ever-increasing swathes of what was once reserved for human beings, the dependency relationship between the elites and the masses will finally be severed. The techno-feudal elites in this new world will simply have no use for the billions of marginalised and technologically excluded flesh and blood humans. Given the utter disdain that the wealthy and powerful have repeatedly shown towards the masses throughout the ages, with hundreds of millions of young men callously sent to their slaughter in pointless wars of conquest and extraction, where the civilian populations of entire cities have been incinerated with firebombs and atomic weapons, and tens of millions starved to death during great leaps forward or murdered en masse by their governments in vicious ideological purges, this changed relationship should give anyone with even a cursory understanding of history cause to be profoundly concerned. For although the development of an automated total surveillance and control architecture, as described here, may be an efficient and cost-effective short-term mechanism to keep a lid on the social turmoil that this technological revolution will bring, it may not turn out to be the elite's ultimate solution to the perceived problem of a rising mass of humanity that has suddenly become surplus to their requirements and a drain on the precious resources that they covet. Once we exchange our individual freedom for the illusion of security, and relinquish sovereignty over our own flesh and blood, who knows what the next step in their anti-human, anti-freedom, technocratic agenda will be? I suggest we don't wait to find out.
Scary stuff. Scary. You know, it's come. It's here. I don't think we're going to be able to stop it. Does anyone in the chat think we're going to be able to stop this? Is it too far gone? Is it? Isn't it? There's Boomer mucking around with the cameras. Look, there we go. It's not me doing it. I can assure you, it's Boomer. Look, he stopped doing it now, so I can't blame him. And if I put my hands down, he'll probably start again. There he goes. Look, he did. There he goes again. See, I wasn't touching it then. I'm not touching it. See, he's mucking around with all the camera angles.
Always blaming your tools.
No, I'm not doing anything. It was you. It was you. I don't like that camera angle. It looks horrible. I don't like that. We'll put the chat on the screen. It makes me look too big. There we go. Chat's coming. Chat takes a while to come through, actually. So you look at all these people that didn't. So what do you think now will happen to when all this does get imposed? You know, all the ones that haven't taken up the old shot. How would it fare for them? Because obviously it's going to be the universal basic income, I would say, is going to be linked to whether or not you've been a good little boy, good little girl during the last 2 years, isn't it? I would say. People, I think basically we are fucked. We're fucked in a lot of different ways in this country, from immigration to total control of everybody. What do we do? It's like I said, they don't allow us to grow our own food. They don't want us to do anything. They're well, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, did we watch what part?
Well, mass non-compliance, but they're going to control the money and they'll control you then.
Yeah, well, this is the mass compliance,
food.
isn't it? But what have they got to control? Just the money, isn't it? Now, I would say.
And then the food, when they start artificial food, no meat, you know, this artificial meat stuff.
Yeah. Well, you sent me a picture yesterday that they were selling bugs, weren't they? Was that in the USA? They were selling salt and vinegar crickets.
Yeah, salt and vinegar crickets.
And sour cream crickets. Yeah. But saying that though, we got some countries that have been eating bugs for fucking years, haven't we? Problem being is, there's loads of different parts. Unfortunately, for some reason, YouTube doesn't like. I'm trying to get episode part 5 because it tells you what the real Great Reset means. Because I don't think people understand it in you know, to a certain extent, but it's never been really broken down. I would say step by step by, you know, we all know what they're doing. We can all see. We're not letting me download this page for some reason. Video not available, so that means I'm gonna have to play it through a different way. This is only a 2-minute long one for some reason. That means I'm gonna have to play it a different way, and that may mean that Boomer may get some audio interference back. So he just shut up. Oh, and then he was to share screen. Oh, and I did it the wrong way, didn't I? Right, let's go into here now. Right, let's bring the audio. Boomer, just shut up for a minute. And I'll shut up for a minute.
So given the gravity of what I'm suggesting, once again I ask you to pause for a moment and reflect deeply upon the world that is described here. Imagine the experience of living in such a world where every action is monitored and controlled. A world in which where you can travel, the food you can eat, and what you can spend your money on is completely dependent upon your unswerving compliance to the diktats of the technocratic state. A world where you have no inherent rights or freedoms, only temporary privileges that are granted to you based upon your total, unquestioning submission. A world in which you and your children are born into a permanent caste system from which there is no escape, where there is no hope for meritocratic progress or betterment beyond the marginal enticements of a higher social credit score. A world where ingrained deep within you is the knowledge that the slightest deviation from prescribed norms or mandated rules, the most minor infringement of action, speech, or even thought, will lead to immediate and automatic restrictions on your ability to travel, consume, or even access information, and where exclusion, expulsion, or worse awaits those who do not submit completely to the will of the technocratic state. In such a world, your inherent value as a sentient, living, feeling human being will have been reduced to a mere cybernetic node, a collection of 100 million data points to be monitored and optimized by an all-knowing AI system that targets you with behavioural modification technologies to condition you into unconscious compliance through rewards, punishments, and omnipresent panoptical surveillance. Forced to live in smart cities with little or no access to the natural world, you will no longer be a free human being. You will be something else, and your children and all those that follow will be condemned to live this same inhuman existence in perpetuity, never able to break free or even conceive that another type of world was even possible. Feel into this world. Allow yourself to be immersed in the horror of this dystopian nightmare. Feel the visceral, organic knowing within you that this is not right. You know in your heart that this goes against everything it means to be a sentient, living, breathing, loving, feeling human being. You know in the very marrow of your bones that this is not what we came here for. This is not our future. For no human wants their children to be born, live, and die in a prison. But this is what they have planned for us. This is their great reset, and this is what will come to pass if we stand idle, silent, and do nothing.
There you have it. I think it's the thing is we've always been saying that this is the first time I've watched part 2. I haven't watched all of it yet. Because I thought I would wait, but everything we've said so far in this, it's happened. It's happening. Scary. I'm just lost for words anymore. I've always said, if they're trying, the only thing they cannot control is human free will, isn't it? Their own free will. But if they control you by that digital sense, your digital free will, whereby everything's digital, whereby you access your money, your food, everything digitally, that's how then they control your free will. Because there's people that saying that we're some sort of sick experiment because they're trying to recreate human free will, but they cannot do it. They cannot physically create. But if they cannot create free will, well, they would then want to control it, wouldn't they? And I see that this is the way that these beings are going to control us. It's through all this. And it's happening. I don't think we can stop it. I really don't think it's stoppable. It's time to choose.
For hundreds of thousands of years, humanity has strived against adversity, overcome incredible odds, grown and flourished on this planet. Our species has persisted through ice ages and devastating global cataclysms, survived famines, floods and plagues and all manner of challenges that are now lost to the depths of mythical time. We have built unfathomable monuments of stone and steel, created artistic works of mesmerising beauty, written great literature that illuminates the human journey and philosophies that attempt to make sense of our very existence. We've ventured to the bottom of the oceans, peered out into the farthest depths of the universe and looked back into the most distant epochs of cosmic time. We've wrestled with the biggest questions of all. What is reality? Why are we here? What is the meaning of existence? What is the nature of love? And we have looked deep within ourselves and explored the nature and the mystery of our own consciousness. For we are explorers, we are poets, we are builders, we are intrepid, fearless adventurers, and together we are hurtling through infinite space on this beautiful, precious ball of rock, water and life we call home. Each one of us is the culmination of an infinite number of miracles that stretch back to the beginning of time itself. We have not come this far, overcome so much, created such beauty, only to become mere cybernetic nodes in some soulless AI-driven machine, mere automatons in some vast, inescapable digital prison, to be corralled and tagged like cattle, or worse still, rounded up and exterminated like vermin. This is not our future. This is not the next chapter of the human story. Great wonders await us that are beyond our wildest imaginings. But first we must collectively wake from our slumber, see through the lies and propaganda, and have the courage to fully acknowledge the world that these self-appointed high priests of technocracy, these architects of dystopia, have planned for us. Only then, when we face the Leviathan head on, when we stand together, united in purpose and reject unequivocally their diabolical plan, can we begin to start building the more peaceful, harmonious, beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. But let us not underestimate what we are confronted by. For if the last 2.5 years have taught us anything, it should be that those who are behind this agenda do not value life, they do not cherish liberty, and they certainly do not care about the well-being of humanity. They are ruthless, they are determined, and they are completely committed to creating the dystopian world described here. For them there is no room for negotiation, and there is no plan B. They know that humanity is awakening, and they are making a dash for the finish line, and I believe there is nothing they will not do to see their plans come to fruition. Cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, starvation and societal breakdown, the release of biological pathogens, regional and even global conflicts are all in their playbook. But in reality, deceit, division and fear are their most powerful weapons, and therefore the best way to derail their agenda and avert this catastrophe is to collectively awaken, to see clearly the world they have planned for us, to be courageous and above all to stand united. It is vital that we do not succumb to fear, fall into the trap of violence, fall prey to the tactics of division, or retreat into isolation and pure self-preservation. We must listen to the better angels of our nature and support each other as we rise to the challenges that lay ahead. For if we look within ourselves, we will find deep wells of strength and boundless reserves of love that lay at the core of our very being. Together, we the people have the power, and we owe it to our descendants to bequeath to them a free and harmonious world. Brothers and sisters, this truly is a pivotal moment in human history, for the future trajectory of the human race will be decided in the decade to come. Will our future be a global techno-feudal totalitarian surveillance state, populated by transhuman cybernetic nodes, in which the human spirit will be completely crushed and real freedom will be all but unthinkable?
Yep.
Or will it be the beginning of a new era of peace, prosperity and harmony? A new renaissance in which the human race will wake from its trance, rise to the challenge to become a wise steward of this beautiful planet we call home, and ultimately take our place amongst the stars. It is up to us, every single one of us alive today, to decide what that future will be. Now is the time to choose. If this message resonates with you, if you know deep within your being that something is wrong, I ask you to share this message with your family and friends, for the time to act and the time to awaken is now.
Again, I'm speechless. I am speechless, emotional, because like you got to resist what we're doing now to see any way out of it. We got to resist the technology. I don't think we can resist the technology. I'm speechless. I really, really am speechless. I think that was the last in the series of episode 2 that yeah.
That'll give some people some things to think about.
What do people think about it in the chat? What's their opinion of everything? Is, you know, this is just one person's take on it. So I don't know. Well, I believe it because everything that's happened in the last 2 years is happening now. Is you know, it's come true. Keeping on talking about digital currency, central bank, people that you spoke about the FTX scandal, you know, and now we've just got our Prime Minister flying into Kyiv to meet Zelensky and giving him £50 million. So I've seen the little ticker across the bottom of the chat. And who's this Ted Kaczynski? Who's he? Was he right? What's that about? Boomer put it, so Boomer will be able to tell me about it, surely.
Well, people should do a bit of research. Who
Who's
Ted Kaczynski is?
well, who's Ted Kaczynski? I'm sure you
Who's
can.
the first one? Who's the first one in the chat can find out who that is?
Go on then. Everyone in the chat, own work. Who's Ted Kaczynski, and was he right? Was he the
That's
first?
right.
Was he the first person? Well, no, because it could be a vast majority of things. Kaczynski. Got to be something to do with Russia. Oh, the uni bomber.
Yeah, you should read his manifesto.
Oh, I heard. No, go on then. What does his manifesto say? In a broad. No, in a broad.
He predicted a lot of things that are going on.
Right, I thought I've seen some stuff recently about him. Then, yeah, it must have been him. Have you heard Unibomber name bounded around? Oh, I'll have to read up about that. So he's a bit like Notre Dame, then, was he?
Yeah, but he made bombs and was trying to kill people. That was the problem.
Well, yeah, that was a. So he was an extremist then.
Yeah, but they fried his brain in Harvard with LSD in those LSD trials. What were they called?
Project No.
I'll remember in a minute.
Someone will put it in the chat. E knew stuff. Someone says Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson says he knew stuff.
Yeah. Very, very high IQ, genius IQ, mathematician. Fried his brains. MK Ultra. That was it.
That's it. MK Ultra. On the spectrum, you would say.
Well, especially after all the LSD.
Well, it could be. Well, that would fry your brain, though, wouldn't it? LSD, because like that some psychedelic drugs don't agree with some people, does it? It's like, yeah, it could fuck your brain up. Could make you like a psychopath, psychotic. Yeah. MK Ultra. I've heard of them. Never really looked into it. Got to turn my mic down. You can hear me grinding. Let's have a look what the chat is saying. Coke and crack make psychopaths. Yeah, could do. Big Baz. Head of the prison said his manifesto was spot on. So what did he
Yeah,
want?
I'm just trying to find a web version, and I'll get back to you. Hang on.
Try and find a little like someone done like a a YouTube clip of him, like really like not long, so it can give people like a little bit. Cause I've heard of the uni bomber and I heard of the manifesto, and there's some sort of like whereby a lot of what he was saying is coming true. But obviously that's after the fact, so why would he know back then what's happening today? Is he never like Edward Snowden and shit like that? And Julian Assange. Let's have a look. It'd probably bring up all the shit about him. Uni bomber.
There's a link for you.
Oh, you're sending me a link, are you? Good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's 51 minutes long. That's like the real story. I've probably given you the here we go. Manifesto. Oh, come on. Here we go. It's taking a fucking while to download. Where's it coming from? There we go. Industrial revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Yeah, well, the industrial technological system may survive or it may break down. If the system breaks down, the consequences will still be very painful. We'll therefore have so all this is So did he write this manifesto before he went on the bombing rampage?
Yeah. He got the newspapers to print it out while he was doing the bombing.
Right.
I'll just find a summary. Hang on.
How's that? Oh, is this the one that went quiet for a long time and then started again? Because it says it's raised a campaign between 78 and 95.
No, they just couldn't find him.
Right.
Because he made all the bomb parts, even the screws and everything. He made.
Really?
Yeah, he made everything from scratch. He's brilliant. Yeah, there's a summary.
So, what, you put it in a back chat, have you? Yeah. Like they say, the truth don't always come out until people are dead, innit?
Put it on the screen and read it out.
Am I able to put that up on the screen? Yes, let me do that. Let me close that one. Let me open up that one. That one. That one. That one. That one. That's too small. Don't worry. I'll see if I can enlarge it. Fuck a duck. All see that? We can all see that. Yeah, okay.
You can read it now.
The uni bomber, Ted Kaczynski, aka FC, is an extreme anarchist, a mathematician, murderer who bombed people based on his manifesto Luddites generally believe that most humans should not rely on high technology. Well, that's quite true because
Yeah,
I
the
think
Luddites. The Luddites. They don't
like
believe in
Luddite.
technology.
Oh, the Luddites. Sorry, yeah. So was he a Luddite? So is that one of those group of people that people would say they're a cult or something like that? The Unabomber manifesto is basically libertarian anarchy. Oh, they always blame it on libertarian, isn't it? With a Luddite terrorist conclusions. The first chapter is an attack on left-wing liberals. Well, is that a good or bad thing? So how come this right? I hear from Fox News or Alex Jones, Ted believes that.
He predicted how the left would be right now today.
Well, and they are, aren't they? They're exactly like they are today.
Yeah, keep reading for everybody.
I ain't fucking reading. They can read for themselves. I'm not a very good reader.
It's too small to read for them.
Hang on then. I should. That's why I want spoken word. There you go. All for you fucking blind people.
You need a program to read it.
Yeah. 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 There is one on Apple. I'm sure it is for like not very good sighted people. But never mind. I think a lot of people are aware. I have to do my research on them because I can't even talk about them as people are reading because I don't know fuck all about them. You can see that, thanks. Yeah. Oh. All right. Does it come in movie form?
Okay. You need to read it.
I will. I know. I need to read it. I don't know nothing about
Out loud for everybody. Out loud for everybody.
I can't read it. I can't. I'm not one of those out loud readers, am I? Can't. Some words I can't pronounce.
You'll get better at it.
If I pre-recorded it, it'd be better. Like, but I can't do it off pat like that. Can't ask me to do things like that. It's like reading from a script. Let's put in the comments in so I can read them. That's it. Yeah, you can't because it all goes small again. I'll turn that down.
No, next subject.
Next subject. Who's got a subject? I still think that 15-minute cities in what they're doing to us is probably the most important one at the moment, amongst other things. Use text to voice. Let's see if I can get it. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look. Oh, it hasn't come up another screen, is it, online? Better not have. No, that's all right. Text.
I suppose if he didn't bomb people, he'd be a YouTuber now.
Who?
Ted.
He could be.
Yeah.
He could be.
He'd have his own channel. It'd be
Yeah.
like a David Icke.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, I ain't it. Fucking.
Yeah, that's right. A survival or a prepping channel he would have.
preppers. It's like we said. We said, oh, they were mental, didn't we? Oh, you're a prepper. You're fucking mental. Mad.
Here's a prepping question. How many people have got a bug out bag ready in the chat? Put a
Yeah.
1 if you have.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Who's got a
And
bob?
and if you have, what does your bug out bag contain? Everyone in your household should have one, really.
There's a few ones.
I would say everybody in your household should have one. I do think. It's like all those people that, you know, extreme shoppers, and they go and buy all their food and got their whole stockpile in their basement of their house, right? What happens if you got to leave your house? What happens to your food then, innit? You're fucked, aren't you? Yeah, I do believe you should, really, right, have a location you're going to go to, which is safe, and then have caches. Make sure they're good enough, they're not going to be found, and just cache all your stuff around. You got to, because you don't know where you're going to be, innit? I'm telling you, when all shit kicks off and it's the fan, the first places you've got to be hitting is pharmacies and supermarkets, innit? Boom. Before everyone else does. That's the problem. All these preppers that's got it stored at their houses, you better be armed and shit like that. And you better be dangerous.
Also, have you practiced where you're going to go? Just like it's, you know, actually done it. And if you practice without transport.
Well, what's this? Where's this? If this ever happens, where is it? There we go. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. It's all right. I'm just doing something. I'm just gonna show you something. If this well, yeah. Why not bringing that on? Why not bringing that on?
We are now interrupting our normal programming to bring you an important announcement from Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. This is BBC Television from London. We are interrupting our normal programming for an emergency broadcast on behalf of Her Majesty's Government. Information of a possible nuclear strike against this country has been received. The current threat level is critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Civilians are advised to remain indoors.
Now, an attack is imminent. By that time, well, I don't think we even have time for warning or any sort of warning, because if it's going to be Putin, he's going to do it when he's probably parked right on our fucking doorstep. If anything like that's ever going to happen, you know, he could probably sail his subs up the Thames.
And why would they tell anybody anyway?
And why would they tell anybody?
Just be panicking that. Might as well just leave it until afterwards. Clean up the mess then.
Exactly. I don't think there'd be any sort of fucking warning. And especially what's going to come up next, he says. It says, if you're in blast areas, you're going to be evacuated.
In some urban areas, evacuations are taking place. If you're in one of these areas, police will help you to safety. Follow their orders without question. You should remain indoors until you are told otherwise.
It's like that. Nobody. It's like I said. Nobody knows what if and when a nuke's gonna fall, right? How do we prepare for it? Most of our houses, anyway, if we're in the blast radius, our houses ain't gonna withstand an impact. We ain't gonna have time to go to safety. You might as well just kiss your ass goodbye. Do what they say: get low as possible in the central part of your house and hope for the best. And they're telling you, right? They're telling you in this, right? I know it's bogus, but you can just imagine the government giving us something like this. They're telling us to build an inner sanctuary, preferably in the centre part of our house, away from doors and windows, right? Covered something covered over you.
Yeah, you know why?
Like earth or other material.
Yeah, because then the disease and that won't spread as quickly.
What, from death?
Yeah. It's all contained. Yeah,
Because you've already buried. Because you've
Gross.
already buried yourself in the central part of the house, and the house is going to collapse in on you anyway.
That's it. It's keeping the diseases down low
Exactly.
afterwards.
Here we go. We go on to
Do
it
not
now.
attempt to call, text, or use the internet unless it is essential. Connections may be disconnected without notice. Emergency information will be provided via radio, television, and your mobile device.
Well, we know they can do that already.
You should now prepare for a nuclear strike. You will not be able to leave your location for 14 days.
14 days. We all know that, don't we? 14 days. So you're not. So if you survive that big fuck off blast, it's just rocked over your house, right? You survived the shockwave. Now you got 14 days. So you're hoping your house is still standing, right? At this time, and you're safe in your inner sanctimony. So
making sure that you're not getting any of the radioactive fallout. So you have to make sure of that as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you if anyone in your little inner sanctuary, if they get sick, it doesn't tell you what to do, right? Because if one person's sick inside your inner sanctuary, you're all sick, right? You're just at different stages.
After the strike. Nuclear strikes create deadly dust known as fallout, which will affect everyone, including those in rural areas. Fallout will cause radiation sickness, followed by death. You should now collect 14 days of essential supplies, including food, drink, and medicines.
All right.
Afterwards?
When do we collect this 14 days? We've just been told there's an imminent strike.
Run to the shop. Quick.
Quick. Fuck me, we've got to go Asda. Quick. Right? So they're
Hopefully the networks are working, my card works.
Hopefully by this time your networks are working and your card will work. Right? So how do you collect this 14 days worth of essential supplies?
Take a hammer.
If you have fresh food in the house, use this first to avoid wasting it.
That goes without fucking saying. Hang on a minute, but you can't leave your inner sanctuary. So how the fuck is that fresh stuff going to stay fresh for 14 days? Right? It's saying to use within the first, right? You're in a confined space, right? You've obviously got your milk or your perishable goods out of because you've got no electricity by this time because the EMP.
Good tin and dry food that you don't cook.
Well, no, it says it. Well, obviously you got essential. It's telling you to use your fresh. Well, all right. How many of us have got? Unless we're prepped. Really?
Imagine that, being really hungry and there's no tin openers.
So we've been told to go out and collect 14 days worth of essential supplies, but yet we are under imminent attack. We haven't been given the location yet where the attack is, where the blast is going to be. But you've got to remember.
So everybody's now panicking, trying to get food in every shop, right? Okay.
This
set the scene.
Yeah, this isn't just going to be one nuke on the centre of London. This is going to be strategic targets. Military installations normally go first, airfields, and then communications. So the likes of your Cheltenham, your fucking Goon Hillies, and your places like that, all up at smoke, right? So if you live in those areas, I wouldn't even bother.
So you still have time to shop.
Well, how? Because you're in the blast zone, mate. So you've got literally what, minutes?
Okay, some people have got time to shop.
You haven't got your time for a car though, or your Sainsbury's.
This is where your 15-minute cities work.
This is how your 15-minute cities work. Oh, fucking, you couldn't make this shit up, could you? Here we go. Hang on, what else you got?
You are advised to build an inner refuge in the lowest and most central part of your home.
Hang on a minute. Not only, hang on a minute. Who goes shopping? So you got to sort this out now, right? Between your families, right? Who's going to go shopping and who's going to build the inner sanctum? Because you can't do two things at once. So obviously we've got to be a bit sexist here, haven't we, right? The women can't go and do the shopping, right?
Yeah. Get out there quick.
As far away from external doors and windows as possible.
Yeah, we all
use non-flammable materials such as doors, tables, chairs, suitcases, or bags of earth to cover your.
Oh, like you've got bags of fucking earth, or you've got time.
What, you haven't got bags of earth hanging around in your...
All right, you'll be sending the kids around your house ripping the doors, so they'll be like, they're enjoying that, right? But then, obviously, when the blast rips through your house, right, there's gonna fucking no doors on it.
Shelter. You must ensure you have everything you and your family need in your inner refuge in order to survive for 14 days. You should remain in this refuge for the majority of this period. You will not be able to leave your fallout room. Ensure you have a 14-day supply of drinking water. Collect approximately 3.5 litres of water per person per day.
How big are these inner sanctuaries, right?
Your family.
Because mine's got to fit 6 in it, right? 6 in my inner sanctuary.
All that water.
So that's 3.5 litres a day of water, at least.
Water means life. Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
If mains water is available following the attack, it can be used for firefighting purposes. Before entering your shelter, make sure that gas and other fuel supplies are turned off and that all fires are extinguished. Do not leave your shelter until you're allowed to do so. Martial law is now in effect. You must follow police and military instructions without question. If you're yet to locate a place of safety, find the nearest building and take refuge in the lowest and most central location. Be prepared for the 3 elements of nuclear explosions: extreme heat, extreme light, and a shockwave blast. Do not attempt to look at the blast. If you can, place any available material against the walls in your shelter to shield against heat and gamma radiation.
Oh, because we've all got fucking lead in our houses, haven't we? Because let's face it, what's the only thing that's ever gonna, you know?
I'm surprised he didn't say don't take any selfies with it.
Remember, there is nothing to be gained by attempting to escape the blasts. By leaving your home, you will bring danger to your family and you may die. Stay.
You may die.
In your fallout room until you're told it is safe to leave. If you haven't already done so, ensure all windows and doors are closed and locked.
Hang on a minute, but you've just ripped off your doors to build your inner sanctum.
You have to put them back.
And make your way to your inner refuge. Following the strikes, there will be a speech from...
Oh. We ain't gonna have time, because they ain't gonna panic the nation, will they? I don't think personally they will.
There's got to be a speech afterwards. That'll make everybody feel better.
Fuck it. What? whilst the Prime Minister is deep underground, that he's coming out all right. He can
How do
stay
you,
under there.
how do you get it? Everything's fried from EMP. No one's got a radio.
Well, yeah, how do you get those signals across? Oh, we've all got, well, transit radio, nothing can work,
Burnt
will
out.
it?
Yeah, they'll all be burnt out.
There'd be no communications whatsoever.
And you think about it, Torrent, look
Mhm.
down your street, imagine everything in the streets. It'd take you probably just to get to the next 2 blocks a week or something through all that shit.
Yeah, for the devastation,
Yeah.
for the craters and everything else like that. It'd be, you know,
All hospitals gone, all doctors and nurses dead.
that's mental.
That's why they want you in the middle of the house.
So you're buried alive.
Yes, it's a nice little. They'll know where everybody's buried.
Well, that's how you contain diseases, isn't it?
Or burnt. The ones closer, of course, will be burnt.
Well, a lot of our houses will be on fire, so when we're in our inner sanctum, we'll be all burnt alive anyway. So we've just basically cremated or buried ourselves and cremated, so they don't have to worry about diseases, do they? So they can come out. They only have to worry about fallout.
Would that be bad for your carbon credit?
Wow, that's mental. Would you survive it? I don't. You won't survive it if you're in the blast radius. You might survive it if you're probably, well, I'd say at least 10 miles away.
And the Japanese guy survived too.
Just imagine that, though, wouldn't it? We wouldn't know anyway. I don't think. Well, we'd all see. What we'd do. We'd see it. We'd see the flash, and that'd be it. And then the wind would hit you straight away. Boom.
You're like, what's that? What's that bright light?
Yeah, and then boom. That's all. I think that's all you'll have time to do. What's that? And that's it. I need to sustain my family then 294 litres of water. All right, to sustain myself in my inner sanctum. So my inner sanctum is under my stairs. All right, is my hallway. That ain't gonna.
You need to take a photo and show people how much space you've got there.
Yeah, but then I've got all that building material in there as well, like little.
You have to get rid of that first. When you get your warning, you got a list things to do.
Yeah, but how long have I got to build all this shit?
6 minutes. If they warn you from when it's launched, which
They're not going to warn. They're not going to warn anybody, mate. They know as soon as any of the opposition systems come online, or even if they raise their DEFCON level, they know. The missiles don't even need to get off the ground. They know. They see shit going on around the silos. They see all the doors opening up. We got no chance in Bristol. We got the MOD, the procurement centre. Then we got Corsham, which is we got Cheltenham, which is then GCHQ. We've then got Corsham, where all the military, all the communications for all the military aspects go through. They go through this secret installation in Corsham. So how can they say it's secret when people know where it is? And that's in the middle of a housing estate. Did you know that? If you go up a normal residential Corsham street, there's this little obscure building. But if you walk near that building, you'll have armed police on you quite quickly. Because that is communication station. In the middle.
Moscow can get most of the population underground in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, like you said. They've planned for this. The UK has never planned for a nuclear attack and what it will do to protect its people, right? Because all they've gone on in the past is, the having a nuclear weapon is deterrent enough to stop others from using it against us. Yeah, because you're living in that perpetual fear, whether or not, if I launch, will they launch, or if, you know what I mean? You're always in that fear. So we've never banked on the fact that someone ever using them. We haven't protected the people. We've only protected higher echelons. It's just madness. I don't think what's going to be worse, is it? Getting taken out in a nuclear attack, or what's coming with the digital age. What's worse?
This system needs a poll feature.
There is a poll feature if you're a moderator. I'm sure you can set polls if you're a moderator in YouTube. But that is a good thing that we can set polls up in the chat. Hello, Ian. I thought you was coming up here yesterday. I've got a parking space right outside my house. Still waiting. See, Ian's all right. He's got his camper. Well, he won't when the EMP. He's got to make sure he's not within the EMP post to get his alternator taken out so his vehicle won't start. But that's all right, though. We're selling you're selling a product, aren't you, Boomer?
Oh no! Oh, that yes. I thought
Yeah.
that was. I thought that was going to be a joint business.
Oh, joint business. Oh, right. Yeah, we got a business venture. If anyone's interested, we're going to start selling EMP bags for your cars and your vehicles, right? And EMP bags for your mobile phones, right? So you can put all your electronic devices in the EMP bag, right? And we're getting one for your vehicles, right? You can drive your vehicle in, zip it up.
Money back guaranteed.
This is a money back guarantee, right? We're not no bullshit fly by night people. This is a money back guarantee. Right?
Contact us through the website.
Yeah. If you're not happy, you contact through the website, right? With defective products.
Yeah, within 14 days.
Within 14 days of a strike, right? And we will give you your money back, right? But fully. You know, no questions asked.
No questions asked. You don't even have to send that product back.
You don't, yeah. And with our, just as a goodwill,
because we know the postal service will be having some issues at that time.
Yeah. Because obviously we've just had a strike. Yeah, postal services are going to be down. So you don't have to send us the product back. We will just give you, if you're not happy and it didn't work, we will give you your money back. We're so confident that this product's going to work that we're offering you, you know, this time only. We're only offering this one time only. We're offering the bag for the car, and this will fit any size vehicle. With those conditions,
14 days.
14 days after the blast.
Via the website.
Yeah, via the website.
And we can only transfer it back to you electronically.
Yes. And we could, we could, There's obviously, because we've got no cash, we can't go out and physically put this in your bank, because you can't go to the banks anymore because they're not there. We will electronically give you that money back.
This is not a scam.
It's not a scam. Well, it looks like, well, to me, you should be reading that advert on the back of the Viz comics, you know, those sort. But people will actually buy. I think there is a product on the market at the moment, EMP bag for cars, I'm sure, right? But the irony is, right, you can buy. People would buy EMP bags for their electronic devices, right? Nothing is going to work after the EMP blast, right? The networks are going to be down, right? Unless they've got their networks in big bags, nothing's going to work. Nothing will work. And people will make money from this. You look at it. Elon Musk, I guarantee you, will be one. You got the I would say two biggest snake charmers in the world, right? Snake oil salesmen was Elon Musk, and the other one went to prison, didn't she? She said she could tell every disease that you had by a drop of blood. That nano whatever, what's her name?
Yeah, she just got charged to 11 years.
Yeah, she just went to prison, didn't she?
Yeah, Elizabeth
That's it. Elizabeth, whatever her name is. She was
Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes. She went from 2.4 billion to nothing in an instant.
FTX.
Yeah, and then we've got Elon
What
Musk.
about the FTX guy?
What about the FTX guy?
Oh, he was worth 40. Now he's probably worth nothing.
Ah. What's people say? But Starlink fixed that. Yeah, but you look at how much was Elon Musk, right, charging Ukrainians for using Starlink, and he said he was giving it to them for free. He wasn't. They were being charged $4,000 more than anyone else. I was just reading the chat. Sorry. I'll keep scrolling down because they come up differently on the screen. I don't know how late or delayed they are. Don't want to face trading standards after 14 days after the nuke strike. It's madness. It's a bit like years ago, isn't it? Stop, drop and roll or something like that. Stop and drop. Don't look at the blast. Like Boomer said earlier on in the chat, he said, you will get people taking selfies with the blast. Like that, zapping a selfie of the fucking mushroom cloud, innit? You will. And the funny thing is, they're trying.
Don't look up at the end. It's her son.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's taking a selfie. I honestly think every time I watch that film, Don't Look Up, it just reminds me so much of like governments we got running the world now. They have got so distorted realities. 10 damning revelations about FTX in bankruptcy report, including payment sign off with emojis. How do you get payment signs off with emojis?
Oh, you need to read what's going on. They raised money also for Ukraine. Ukraine then government gave it to them for crypto, and then they invested it into the Democrats party, 40 million. And then the Democrats gave money to Ukraine, and then Ukraine gave money. Yeah, have a look.
Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate control and such a complete absence of trustworthiness, financial information as occurred here, writes John J. Ray III. The man appointed as CEO of cryptocurrency exchange platform FTX to guide it through its collapse. And that comes from a man who helped deal with the fallout from the Enron scandal, once the largest corporate bankruptcy in US history. The observation he makes in bankruptcy filings that for FTX are so damning that it's remarkable that companies did not implode sooner. Ooh. So, do you think then, what I'm obviously going to read is the implementation of the complete collapse of everything? If they can't find,
This seems to be a manufactured thing over a year or two.
Fucking hell. Sorry, guys, I was just reading. See, I didn't know about that. Is this just emerging, is it? Is this news, or am I, like, well behind? No.
Well behind.
Well behind? All right, then.
Week or two.
Oh, right, then. So that's why I say I don't, yeah. Like I say, I live in my own little bubble now. Let's see what FTX.
If you got any crypto, you need to take it out of the exchange and put it in your own hardware wallet.
Yeah, but it's going to be worth nothing, though, isn't it? If it's not the government.
No, you put it in your own wallet, and you've got it. It's not an exchange. How do you know Coinbase has got crypto for you and not got an IOU for you? And when you ask for it, if everybody asks for it once, like they did with FTX, how do you know it's not going to collapse?
This is
They
a good
haven't got
thing.
it. So, but if you take your crypto after buying it through them and put it on your hardware wallet, you've got it.
Yeah, it's with you rather than sitting with them. I don't know. It's just. When doing selfies, hold on, where is it? On a queue. When doing selfies, just show mushroom cloud. Oh, I missed it. Shit. There we go. We'll put that out. I thought that was funny. Best for guys to cover bald spot. God, I'm so miles behind on there. There we go. Get your crypto out of exchange and in your own hardware wallet. Never a long one. 2 hours, 2 hours 40. I do think people need to get a reasonable amount of supply of essentials, like non-perishables in our house. I've got a supply.
At least 72 hours.
Well, yeah, because I don't think, if anything, if the shit hits the fan, you ain't going to be able to stay in your houses. So there's no point, unless you've got a big fuck off girl.
You won't get Amazon to deliver.
Well, unless you've got a
Tesco.
safe room that is obviously, a bunker complex under your house that you can seal yourself off, and it's a reasonable size, then I don't think you're going to be able to stay. If you live in a city, you ain't going to be able to stay there. Where'd you go? We all planned for that. We said that. We got bug out bags. But have we planned? If we got to leave our homes, where do we go? Where's our safe sanctuary number 2? And on the other aspect is...
Or a meeting point with other like-minded
Here
people
we go.
that you have already attested and practiced with to go somewhere and meet.
Yep. Because these are the people you're going to potentially spend...
With and without a vehicle.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a good point. Walking Dead. We've all seen that, haven't we? How many people can read a paper map? Do people own...
Or a compass.
Or I said those basic facts months ago. Months. Basic survival needs. Reading an ordnance survey max.
Or nature to know where's north and all that.
Yeah. Well, is that if you haven't got a compass, exactly. Which way is north? Because most of the people use their sat navs. Most people can't read a map now. It's not taught, is it? That's not done anymore. Orienteering. You know, knowing what a spur is, knowing what a re-entrant, saddleback, a heel, a mountain, you know. It's not taught anymore. The people don't want you to know that, because they know if you can, you know, do stuff they don't want no one self-sufficient anymore. It does. You're right, English. It never leaves you once you've learned it how to read a map.
Yeah, but they don't teach anybody.
They don't teach any. You've either had to do, you know, orienteering quite active as a child, or you've been in some sort of military cadet service, or served in the forces, or anything like that. That's where they teach map reading. All right. Other than that, it's not a skill that anyone teaches you unless your dad teaches you. And that's the truth behind it. Probably did in the 70s. I certainly didn't do map reading in school when I went. That's it. Clive said we need to go out hunting for our radioactive food after we built our 15-minute, you know, our shelter, and gone shopping. The brownies. Yeah, but how many people join the brownies in the Adventure Scouts now?
But outside the house, they can just put one tombstone with your names on it. So you literally.
Yeah. The family of.
Yeah.
I prefer reading the map. I'd say once you can naturally find north, and you can find yourself anywhere within the country. You just got to roughly know where you are and where north is, and just head to the direction you want to go.
At least get to the coast.
Well, yeah. As I was saying, they've all learned to read maps. But we're all like-minded people, aren't we? We're all roughly, I'd say, we're the same age. We're between, I would say, 35 and 68, I would say, our average collective ages are. That are probably the demographic that are watching me right now. So we're all like-minded people. We probably went to school between early 70s and late 70s, you know, starting school and going through school in the 80s. Or you're in high school in the 80s yourself now. See, yeah, that's what I said. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is see the demographic. So what demographic? So we break it down to that. So we've got the demographics of the ages between 35 and 70. Let's just say, right, on this channel, right. But I would say more down towards the mid 60s end.
So plus or minus a few percent.
Yeah. So out of that, then, what percentage do you think now? Of the ones, because obviously we're looking at it's going the way that we don't want it. It's going into this digital age. Now that's got to be down to the one demographic. So we come, so generation wise, from baby boomers and Generation X. Yeah, that's our demographics, I would say. so we're baby boomers and we're Generation X's. I'm Generation X. Now we got millennials, haven't we? Where we got them that they can't go 5 minutes without getting some sort of self gratification from the
Dopamine hit.
Well, a dopamine hit from the internet, isn't it? Yeah, they're got to get the likes, got to get the approvers, got to get the approval. Yeah, so it's like, how do we get? Because those people there, they've grown up with technology. You know, you ask any, we've done it. Get objects, get your kids, get objects out that you grew up with, everyday objects, and are no longer used today. Your rotary dial telephones, your shit like that, your cassette tapes. Ask kids. You know, if we could say that kids are forgetting history like that, right? How what they're saying is when they're rewriting history for the future, or what they're changing in history. Well, that's a, you know. Yeah, we witness life without it. That's the only the good thing. Kids don't know what life is. Well, we can't, because would anyone allow their kids to go out and walk the streets now? We could back in my day. My mum and dad, well, my mum especially, because I was brought up in a, mum looked after the kids. She had a part-time job. Dad had his full-time job, lorry driving, away all week, providing for his family. So, you know, mum was the very much the, you know, sort of authoritarian, but, you know, on a weekend, it was like, fuck off. I don't want to see you till tea time. But you can't do that with your kids now. Yeah. Sorry, I just answered a chat without saying which it was. Now it's just whizzed past me. Kids are running the street. Yeah, but it's not my kids. But saying that, my kids are brought up in a mum and dad family, isn't it? Really?
Got to be close for that nuke strike. Got to get inside.
I am close to that. Well, I mean, I'm taken out. I live in 3 miles out the city. If our city centre's hit, which I don't think anything within the city centre would be hit, it would be more like out 12 miles away, the hit epicentre.
Yeah, they wouldn't waste on the city.
No, we have got military installations all around me though, so
city will get taken out on the third wave or whatever.
Yeah, it won't be. It'd be all military installations. I don't think it'll ever come to it anyway. We've still got it, haven't we? We've all got nukes. You know, nobody will, because then they've got to live with the fallout. You know, they've got, you know, how are they going to deal with the fallout? Because how long is the fallout going to last? Tens of thousands of years, isn't it? No one's going to do it. We got more likely of that new nuclear reactor going critical than anything else. You know, that's what I'm surrounded by nuclear reactors. So if a Chernobyl ever happened, you know, I've got a nuclear power station at one end of the 7, and 2 nuclear power stations at the other end of the 7. Got Inkley and the new one that's being built. So, and they're only, what, 20 miles away from me, if that. So if they ever go up, it's Chernobyl, isn't it? Yeah, we got Inkley just down the road. And is Albury a nuclear? I can't remember. And we got Albury up the Ever end towards Gloucester, because it's got it's got the highest tidal fall, or yeah, one of the highest tidal falls in the world, isn't it? That estuary. I think, Clive, you hit that nail on the head. I think biological is more of a bigger threat than nuclear. Biological.
One of those idiots testing a virus and making it worse.
Well, yeah, well, exactly, isn't it? Because you look at it, if they do nuclear, right, it's got to be a vast area. If it's biological, they can target a person, can't they? Maybe? Yeah. Is that ringing some bells in people's heads? To me, that's the greatest fear, biological. The man-made one. It's done in a lab. Maybe. Well, no, that's come out now, isn't it? That's come out as truth, isn't it? Didn't the senator say that, or someone? Or is it still not allowed to say that? I don't know. That's right. Biological, you can kill life, but you can keep infrastructure intact. Exactly. Beautiful, isn't it? I truly believe, right, this whole... I don't know where people stand on Putin, Ukrainian business. I don't really, people are getting killed on either side, right? But I do honestly believe that, there's lots of shady shit going down in the Ukraine, and the UK and the States seem to be very much pondering to Zelensky's every whim, right? When Zelensky asked Biden for more money and Biden got funny with him, all right, now we've just given him another 50 million, and this was after the fact is when he was screaming after the missile hit fucking the farmer's tractor inside Poland, he was screaming for all NATO nations to attack. He's now gone back on his word, and the first thing he did was ask for more fucking money. And what do? We give him another 50 million quid. 50 million quid. Well, not only are we starving to fucking death, we are freezing to death. We have got hundreds of migrants sailing across the channel every day. Where is all this money coming from? Run over. A lot of money. Where is it coming from? 50 million. 50 million squared. And that's on top of the how many million we just given France? Printed to cause inflation, to cause a global collapse. And it will be blamed on all this pandemic money they printed. It's blamed on the war in Ukraine. And then we'll all be saved by magic government crypto will be our savior. And
UBI.
UBI. Oh, people, we need the UBI because we're in such dire crisis. We'll all get the same. Well, we don't all get the same. The only people that get it are the people that implement it. and they will be able to control everything you do. They can control consumerism. They can control everything, innit? Consumerism, because they can control we don't want people to buy TVs, so we won't let them buy TVs. We won't let people to buy certain goods. They can mold and shape. What they can't control on the human is the human free will to actually go and buy that product, isn't it? You know, I talked Boomer. He was just about to buy a drone the other day. Just about to buy a drone. He told me he was just about to buy a drone. I talked him out of it. I changed his free will. Yeah? So that is sort of controlled. Well, I talked him out of it because I thought it was a good thing because he wouldn't use it, right? They can then control your consumerism because you'll only be allowed to buy certain products. And that is the way they then control the human free will. So the people what produce this tech that is allowed to be sold, because not all manufacturers are going to be in on this. So, you'll only then be allowed to buy certain products by certain manufacturers, buy food from certain producers, the likes of Bill Gates and people like that, who owns all these vast farms that's trying to buy up all this agriculture. So we'll all be constrained to buying products from them, using our money, and our basic income. And if you're not good, you're not going to get as much basic income, or going to be restricted even more. We all know in China, all right, they have a social credit system whereby they're not allowed to use certain transportation. That's the truth. You're not allowed to use the bullet train or something like that. You're not allowed to use fast transportation. You have to use a bus or a coach rather than a train or a plane. All right? That's how they constrain you. And this is what's happened in China. And this is what's going to happen here. Are we all happy with that? How do we stop it? I don't think you can. Unless you have... Well, I don't know. I don't even think... I don't know.
But what we hear about China, is it true?
How do you mean true?
Well, how did you get all your information on China?
I know.
So how do you know it's true? What we
I
hear?
know where you're going with this
and
one.
it's not a disinformation by the West. For example, Soviet Union, what we were told, what I've learned since by being there in those places, is completely different.
So
COVID. They tell us one thing, something different.
I watched something on that actually. Yeah. We're only ever, somewhat like we don't refer in the Western media. How do we refer to the I call them the Chinese Communist Party? Yeah. But don't Western media refer it to something different? And I watched a documentary. It's like, how do we ever know who they really are? I can't remember what it's called now. It's like I say, I watch a lot, but don't remember a lot of things. I can't remember that. Oxygen will be metered. It will be metered. It won't be, your oxygen won't be metered. It's your emissions that's metered. It will. And we spoke about that earlier. Because then we're going down the likes of the realms of Total Recall, aren't we? Is it Total Recall? Yeah, Total Recall.
On Mars.
Yeah, on Mars. Well, I could see that when, you know, if we, yeah, well, we can send all the migrants there, couldn't we? Really? That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? We could use Mars there. Hey, we could use that as a fucking, as a staging state, you know, as a processing center. Mars. They could be the first humans to experience space travel and to colonize Mars.
Too expensive. The moon closer.
Moon's closer. That, well, my stomach's rumbling now. I could. That was mental. I could hear that through the microphone. I don't know if anyone else heard my stomach rumble. That was mad. What's people saying in the chat? 237 it's saying. I hope I got 200 likes. Oh, people could probably hear the Rizzler rattling. Because my microphone's so high, because it won't pick up. There we go. Yeah.
227.
227. 226. 269. Bristol has fallen. I like that. Bristol has definitely fallen. Bristol fell a long time ago. You got to remember, I don't think it even makes a difference anymore. Labour, whatever, they're all just as bad. But we've had, Bristol has been a Labour stronghold for the well, Bristol South anyway. It's been a Labour stronghold for the past 30 odd years, and we will never see anything different. But in local government, it's Labour and Greens. Greens nearly took Bristol at the election, which was fucking madness. Yeah, but we've gone very Greens. So Bristol fell a long time ago. We don't. This is funny, right? It is so. Look, the seat, and I got people from Hartcliffe around in this chat, right? So they can agree with me or disagree with me, whatever they want. But I'm sure they're going to agree. Labour is such a guaranteed seat in South Bristol. We don't get no canvassers at all coming knocking on the doors of Hartcliffe. Ever. I've never had one. And I haven't lived in I've only lived in Hartcliffe now, what, some 10 years nearly. My wife's lived a lot longer. And Sean's lived here probably all his life. Well, a lot longer, or his missus is from the area. So, you know, he says it's true. We don't get no one canvassing at all. In around Hartcliffe. Not even for any party, not even for Conservative or Greens or Liberal Democrats. We get nobody canvassing in our area, but yet we are the biggest seat. One of the big, we're a crucial seat. Bristol South is quite a critical seat in the grand scheme of things as well. But then you say, like, oh, standards and independent, right? How do you take on the likes of the big guys if you stand as an independent?
And if you get in, how do you get anything done?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're just one person sitting as an MP. And
MP's useless. MP's useless. It's councils and that to do your local stuff.
Local councils, especially the likes of Bristol, I'd say major ports, Bristol, Liverpool, right? Those sort of cities that I say local government, so local city councils have a great sway on business.
If you don't like the education of your kids, get voted in on the education councils, all that sort of thing. Around your area, councils. MP's useless.
I do think that's the only way that you can. You've got to do it in a way that everyone's the collective. The only way I think we can see the winning now or getting away from this is it's going to take generations. You know, it's not going to change in our generation, right? We're securing this for generations to come, whereby is we've got to do what the left has done to us. They've infiltrated all aspects of government, the WEF and everything like that. They've got people at every echelon to agree with them. But it's like now you've got to take over from within, be like the silent Trojan horse until there's enough of you on the inside to take it from the inside out.
Multiple Manchurian candidates.
Exactly. Because I think most people are, think, oh, we need to change this now. We need to change this today. We need to stop them. I don't think it's going to stop. I think the only way it can change is, play them at their own game. Live and build a community. I've said that months ago. But then you don't.
But then they could enforce everything from the outside and make it.
Exactly.
Like you're in a prison.
Exactly. You look at all these people that live away from society, Amish, and we've mentioned them loads of times before. Amish people, they're starting to get hassled now, aren't they, from outside government? Their way of life that they choose to live, and they're harming nobody. They're now, their farmers are getting hassled and shit like that. Because they don't want people to live in a community like that. We all might think it's a weird living a life like an Amish, but I've seen some really pimped up buggies, haven't you? There's some I wouldn't mind one of them. Get me horse on front with those pimped up ride.
Bristol used to be a coach builder, didn't it? Had a big, you could restart the Bristol coach building.
Omnibus. The Omnibus company.
TFUK coaches.
TFUK. Mate, I can't make nothing. Oh, look. World Cup first match kicks off. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. They're really looking after the fans, aren't they? Because most of them was...
It's not your country. You can't say anything about their laws.
No, I can't. It's their own laws, isn't it? What they impose in their own country.
And if you don't like it, don't go there.
Don't go there. So obviously all these people that go there condone their actions then.
Don't care.
Don't care for their actions. Oh. So what are they going there for? The shilling? The money? Well, it must be. It's got to be. That's the only reason. Because do you think the Qatar government, right, are going to let a football pundit, like likes David Beckham, because he's gone there, right? And mind you, we praised this guy for standing in the queue for hours on end, right, to visit a coffin of the Queen. Yeah, he's gone over there taking a shilling. So how is he going to highlight the atrocities that the Qatarian government imposed on their people? What's he going to do? He's gonna in between each kick. Oh, like, the women get really treated bad here. Hey, go! Why is he going to do that? It should have been a total boycott of the game completely by every country that don't agree with what the atrocities they impose, but we can't because it's all done on greed, isn't it? We're greedy, greedy.
Freedom. If you don't like it, don't go. Don't like it, don't watch.
And do you know what? I am so scared for all of the English supporters that are actually gone to support England. They will not know what's hit them. All right? If they behave like the way they behave elsewhere, other countries, right? There's a lot of people going to get hurt in bars and, well, it's a dry country, isn't it? But
No, the hotels know they've got alcohol, but they'll just limit it. That's all.
Well, I can see there's lots of trouble. Do you think they're going to allow football fans to walk down the street shirtless and shit like that? I don't think they will. We're living in an Islamic country by Islamic laws, aren't we? So when we're there, don't we have to abide by their customs and traditions? Shame they don't abide by our customs. Oh, that's a different story. I won't get into that one.
They do when they come here, but then they change them as well.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a debatable fact. Oh, 1-0 to Ecuador. Oh, they've only just kicked off, have they? So do you reckon, right, if the
Can't you
football...
show something in the corner? A game, or is that illegal? Oh yeah, it would be in it for FIFA.
Yeah, I don't have any rights to it, do I? I don't have the rights by the Qatarian government to...
Can you blur it a bit?
What's the fucking... I tell you what, should I watch it and give you a commentary?
You could do that.
I bet someone on YouTube is already restreaming it. Bet you.
But anyway, most people don't give a shit about soccer anyway.
I don't give a shit about soccer, to be quite honest.
So why are you going to look?
Well, because you just told me to. Yeah, somebody at FIFA World Cup Arena.
Get no free will.
That's. Oh no, we don't want to watch. That's live. It's showing. It can't be live because they've already kicked off. Who will win? I'm saying Ecuador. Do you know what their vote is? Who will win the first game, Qatar or Ecuador? And 77% are saying Qatar. Somebody filming it from the crowd. He's going to get his hands chopped off. Anyway, I'm not watching it. It's football. I don't like football. Overpaid men kicking a bit of leather around for 90 minutes. For what?
For your enjoyment.
I don't get no enjoyment. So I choose not to watch because I use my free will.
It goes with the bread.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
Bread and circuses.
England hasn't got a football team. They're all wokey, aren't they? Wokey. How many times are they taking the knee in this match? Do you reckon England are taking the knee?
Is that another word for Greek?
What? I don't know.
Sorry, that might have been over your head.
That was over my head, mate. Way over my head. I'm going through the chat. I can't do two things at once. Listen to you. And, yeah. I should read the chat on the screen and not scroll through the messages because they're all coming on the screen anyway. See? It's not like football. It's dangerous like fighting. Bristol has it's down to the people that own Bristol that run it, and it's the likes of Marvin Rees and people like that, and because he owns the waste company. I think he's got shares in the waste company, in Bristol Waste, which is completely shit anyway. Oh, right, boomers just told me, yeah, it would go over my head.
Now you get it. Take the knee.
Take the knee. Yeah. Is that the Greek usually referring to anal? Yeah, sexual term. Yeah. Yeah, I get it now. Well, the Qatarian government or the organisers of the World Cup, FIFA,
You've learned a
haven't.
few things today.
What's that? Yeah, I have actually. Yeah. They haven't really looking after their spectators very well, because I have read reports that spectators have been left queuing in searing 40-degree heat, right? For hours on end with no amenities or shit like that. So I can imagine that. Human rights atrocity. Someone said it was 1-0 to Ecuador, but obviously it's 0-0. I think that might have been someone's prediction, 1-0 to Ecuador, not literally saying Ecuador has scored.
Maybe that's like Enron or FTX accounting.
Yeah, maybe it's some sort of the accounting mishap. Put a 1 instead of a 0. Maybe it looks like he put a few zeros after the ones. But that's a different subject. Who's watching the wrong game then? No, like I said, I think that was his prediction. Because from the live World Cup countdown, there's still 1 minute 17 seconds to go to the opening. And that is that can't be from the official World Cup. No, they'd have more than 4,000 subscribers. Someone set up someone's gone to the World Cup, set up YouTube with FIFA World Cup Arena, and he's live streaming, because that ain't a very good picture. Anyway, they ain't kicked off yet by the look of it.
It said it was ruled out.
What was ruled out?
The goal.
Oh, ruled out. So they are playing then. So why is he so far fucking behind then? Ah, here we go. I got the game on.
Says the person who doesn't like soccer.
I don't want it. It's 0-0.
You are live, you know.
I know. I know. I'm just, so I'll keep it on in the background screen now. That's all right. There you go. Sorry, guys. I was just there was going to be a goal then. I just wanted to, go, oh, that's all. I think the last World Cup I watched was the fucking Mexico. I don't like football, like I said. I can't get a hard on over football. should be 1-0 to Ecuador. That's what people are predicting. That's what I said it was going to be. Not watching, but are the Qatari team wearing hijabs and turbans? Don't know.
Muslims don't wear turbans.
Yeah.
Wrong religion.
Wrong religion. Sikhs wears turbans.
Wrong country.
Yeah.
Wrong continent.
I'll tell you what, they've probably got the two shittest teams playing. They don't even look real. Do you know what someone's doing? Do you know what someone's doing? He's got 15,000 people watching, right? And he's playing FIFA World Cup 2022. He's playing the game, right? Because it just zoomed in on the player. How can this be Sky Sports main event? Because that was a player, that was a computer player on the pitch. That wasn't a real player on the pitch.
We've now tuned into Torren, who's just taken hallucinogens live on.
No, I'm going to show you people, right? I'm going to bring it up. This is not the real game. This is, to me, it just brought this person up on the screen, right? And that wasn't the real person. That was a
Amazon delivered ayahuasca to him this morning.
They must. I tell you what, either someone's delivered me some good shit, yeah, like you said, or wow, I'm bringing this up. Sorry, if you don't believe me, I'm bringing it up. This is not real game. This is. That's computer. That's not real.
Did you vote?
What? Did I vote in what? What is little... Hang on. Who will win the first game? Ecuador. But that's not real. He's got 18,000 people.
Someone just said it is the game.
It is the game. Well, that's some good hallucinogenics then they sent me because that didn't look real.
And someone said it's a simulator.
It's a simulator. It's the actual FIFA, isn't it? Game. Look at the people stood in the fucking stands at the bottom. It's the game.
Yeah, but they might. Yeah.
He's got 18,000 people watching it, right?
Well, maybe it's two people playing the game, watching the game.
Hey, that reminds me of something, Boomer. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I told you. It would be big. Hey?
Yeah.
Big. There you go. He says, apparently.
Oh, well, mate, there's 18,000 people watching this.
And obviously, people right now who are not even interested in soccer are watching this.
Oh, but to me, I'm only trying to show you that when he was running just now, right, he had a yellow marker above his fucking head, right? And that only denotes to me, it's like...
No, they can do that on a live game now. They can do
no,
that.
it's not live game, mate. Look at how fucking... It's not live game, mate. This ain't real. Look how he's moving. It's computer.
Maybe it's just a shitty fucking connection.
All right, let's have a vote in the chat. All right.
Okay, chat. 1, if it's real. 2, if it's a simulation.
Well, we just have to. We just got to get someone to flick onto their TV and watch the live game now and tell me, is this live footage from the game?
Everybody's saying 2. Everybody's saying 2.
Everyone's saying 2.
I can't say I can't see the fingers flipping the players.
Honestly, I only noticed it just now is because it zoomed in and he went off the player quick. Hang on. He's just transitioned into another. See it transition into a shot then?
A lot of twos, a lot of
A lot of
twos,
twos.
a lot of simulations.
Yeah, he's just updated the screen, look. He's just manually changed the score. Ecuador's got the real score because he has to keep it so people think it's the real game. Because they haven't actually scored in this game, have they?
They did, but it got withdrawn, I think someone said.
Well, there's a goal just been scored now in this game. And Ecuador's just scored, have they, in the real game?
Yeah, it says now, yeah.
This isn't the real game. This is a computer simulation. Hang on.
But aren't we all living in a simulation? We're watching a simulation, watch a simulation, watch a simulation.
Look at his moves he's done. Look, there we go, look, replay. There's 18,000 people watching, 19,000 people watching. They must know they're watching fucking a simulator. They must be happy watching a simulator. Wow. Anyway, I just had to do that to prove a point that it was a simulator. It wasn't real. Anyway, there's lots of twos in the chat. So we all agreed from the start. So, you know,
Lots of twos.
Lots of twos. Yeah. Very, very, very interesting, that was. Anyway, they were both shit at playing.
What, the real game and the simulation?
Yeah, real game and simulation. I thought it was just me. You had me doubting myself then, because I looked at it and I thought, no, that's not real.
Are you
game.
a robot?
No, straight away. As soon as it came on the screen, I thought that ain't real. Big up all you people that are not easily fooled. It's a shame that we haven't. Does the 19... Right. Don't you have eyes? It's fake. Someone's putting, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? Someone's putting, this is the game. Hey, that's one way.
Could you play the game on an Xbox and follow the game at the same time? The players, like the same moves, quickly.
Look, the only way you'll be able to do that is if you've got the live game playing, and then a motion capture simulator of each individual playing fed into the coordinates of the computer. So then the real game then converts that into motion play on the gameplay. It's possible to get a live simulation play.
Because each player's got an electronic tag on them, haven't they? And they can follow them on there.
I would say it would come down to, and we all know motion capture suits, don't we? And we all know those are little like sticky things. You know, each player could wear, tags, but you won't need to capture their whole
American
where they are.
Football players wear them because they're during the game, and they can see what's happening during the game.
I suppose it'd be very easy to do that. All it is algorithms, isn't it? Computer programs running. As long as you've got the live gameplay married up to
It's just a Fitbit on you somewhere.
It's very good. Interesting idea, isn't it? Because technically, really, right? We're saying that though. We don't even really need those players to be there because they could just play on a virtual pitch, yeah, against their virtual reality team. Yeah? Do you see what I mean?
Running in one of those balls.
Yeah. Exactly. And they would just play like this through virtual. It'd be virtual reality. Oh, we're talking like fucking meta shit now, aren't we? See, this is what they want people to do. They want to live your life on the metaverse. So you do shit like this because they can do it. It can be recreated where you can watch the live play and well, the virtual reality play to this, and it'll come out like this. You know, because they say upload yourself to the metaverse, don't they? Get the meta you. Well, why don't we have the likes of, you know, David Beckham and people like that? I know he don't play no more, but that's the only player I know.
Didn't someone just sell their digital version?
What, like NTF?
I think someone just sold it. Bruce Willis, maybe?
What? How can you sell your digital you though? Right, because you just make another one, wouldn't you? Just you wear it out.
No. The digital rights, so they use it. They can use it for remake you and use it for sell it for commercials or whatever, and the voice.
I bet he didn't think. Oh, I bet he sold it for a lot then, because that shouldn't have come cheap. Because everything's digital now, isn't it? You know, it took us like, I mean, how long does it take a normie to figure out that TV screen? That's not the real game. If you had no other access to check that if that was real or not, that's mental. Bruce Willis. Someone's saying Bruce Willis has sold his soul.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's.
That basically is.
Sold his digital self.
Yeah,
forever.
but technically that is selling your soul, isn't it? I think that is selling your what because, like I said, once they have your soul, your digital soul, they could control you.
Yeah, but he's going to be dead soon. Doesn't matter.
Why? Because of the ever control mechanism
But
they
his
put in place.
estate is his estate, and they can still make movies and all that.
Well, it's like they're saying they can, with the technology they got. I don't even think they need alive actors anymore. They can just put them in whenever they want, and make us believe that they're actually there. We know CGI is so good now, isn't it? They can make trick the eyes to believe something else. We know they're doing it. Very interesting. Yeah, Bruce Willis will still be able to make film when he dies. That's another reason as well. Wow. Dude, I wish I got... Well, have I got any scary music? No, I haven't. Oh, I have. Quite scary. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I've been chatting for 3 hours.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, everybody.
It's getting on for food time, and I need to go spend some time with Mrs. T, and I need to stop burning all of this electricity.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. B. I'll speak to you later. Oh, let's make sure everyone smashed that like button. Thanks for the chat. It's interesting, 15-minute cities. You know, really look out for that. Well, it's not 15-minute cities. The word they're going to be using is 15-minute neighborhoods. Very, very, very important words. See how much that crops up over the coming months and the coming weeks. I think that's going to be imposed very quickly, very shortly. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Until the next time, speak to you all later. Bye.